supporting our Cheltenham Festival preview evening, essentially hoping to raise some good funds for the Injured Jockeys Fund. Tonight is about trying to do that exactly, but at the same time we've assembled a great panel here. Hope you agree, to try and find you some, give you some hints and tips next week at the Cheltenham Festival, as well as hopefully putting some money in your pockets through their suggestions, I suppose. So I'll just, if you don't already know, I'll introduce the panel. First and foremost, to my left, we've got local trainer Fergal O'Brien, who's now multiple Grade 1 winning trainer, and I'm hoping he will talk to you a bit about some of his runners this week, as well as give a few views for others. We've got Jamie Snowden, who trains in Lambourne, been brilliant to us. We've been out to his place, wonderful place. He's a Cheltenham Festival winning trainer on a couple of occasions at least, isn't it? And also winning various other big races as well. In the middle we have Tom Drinkwater, who you'll see on our channel. Very knowledgeable racing man, and knows his stuff, and quite often you'll see him on our videos tipping up various winners on a Saturday. To his left is Alan Johns, who's a very well-established jockey, a very passionate Welshman from what I see on all of his socials, and also an excellent social content creator, and delighted to have him with us because he is very much doing some good things in that space. So thank you for coming, Alan. And another Welshman to his left is James Lavelle from Dragon Bet. James and I have started to get on pretty well over the last year and stuff, and we have a good relationship. He's been brilliant to us again. Some good interviews. We've been out to his office. He showed us behind the scenes at a bookmaker and things like that. So a good panel assembled, and I'm sure across the evening they will find us plenty of winners. Anyhow, I suppose just to give you a quick running order of the evening, we'll talk about the first 3 days of the bigger races in the first part of the day, first part of the evening, and then we'll have a break at 8:30. You'll all be served some nice food, burgers and fries, and I believe some onion rings, I'm told, as well. So I hope you look forward to that. And if anybody's a vegetarian, please make the lovely ladies over there aware, because naturally we don't want to get your order on. And apart from that, at the end we will conclude with the final part of the show, where we'll talk a little bit more about the handicaps and put a big focus on them, because I think a lot of the preview evenings you'll go to or listen to will have a lot more focus on the big races. I think a lot of you here already know a lot about that, so hopefully we'll try and find you a handicap winner or two. And then at the end we'll do a raffle, or draw the raffle, however that gets done, and then ultimately we'll end up hopefully sending a few of you off with some winners for next week. So anyway, without further ado, I'll take a seat and I'll start to talk racing. So a great incentive, gents, next week from Cheltenham to rename the Supreme Novices Hurdle, and congratulations Sky Bet for putting that forward in the Mikey O'Sullivan Supreme Novices Hurdle. It looks pretty much certain to go to Ireland and make that 1-0 next week. I suppose, Fergal, if I start with you, where do you see the Supreme Novices winner coming from?
Technology.
Tech.
It's the on button.
It's
The on button, thank you. That's what a private education gets you. I'll get in low early doors. Yeah, I suppose the obvious one is Willie's horse covering the boards, but did really light up at the Dublin Racing Festival and got really on his toes. And Cheltenham's a real cauldron there, and he's going to need to handle Cheltenham, because he could lose his race in the shoot. And I think that's the only chance anything else in the race has got, is that if he blows his top before he gets to the start, really, and he could do. And you know, it's a fair start, and if he runs with the choke out for the first half a mile is going to be so important for that horse. And I think the one that could pick up the pieces is Romeo Coolio there. Very straightforward horse. He's got great form, and he'd be the one I'd be going for in that race.
Jamie, yourself?
Yeah, it's Slightly disappointing that the English have only got 2 entries in the Supreme Novice. Willie Mullins has got 9 in here. So it's fair to say that Willie's got as good a chance of winning it as anyone else. Kopeck de Board is the obvious one. He was mightily impressive, wasn't he? Really was very impressive. Sometimes when a horse looks too good to be true, sometimes it is too good to be true. And he's an incredibly short price here, and he could be the next superstar. But I'm with Virgil. I think I will take him on. The cauldron of Cheltenham can bring out the worst in some horses, and he lacks a bit of experience. I actually I quite like another one of Willie's here, Salvador Mundi, who was a short price for this a while ago. He got beaten in Ireland by Sergino. And I quietly fancied him last year for the Triumph, but I don't think he was trying all that hard to win the Triumph last year because they wanted him as a novice for this season. And I do think he's a very smart horse, and yeah, I'd be backing against Kopeck de Board here, and Willie Mullins will win it with Salvador Mundi.
Yeah, I agree with much of the comments made so far about Kopeck de Boards. Look, whilst you're looking for a superstar, the Supreme Novice is often the prize one. I think we're lacking on stars this season. Look, he's not the most fluent of his hurdles. He can travel over keenly, and I think that could ruin his chances here. Travelling over to Cheltenham as well, the buzz around it, he has to prove he can handle those sort of situations. And that said, I think Salvatore Monday, as Jamie said as well, he ran in the Triumph Hurdle. He's proven before he can come here and handle the track and everything like that. He held his novice status, so he's eligible to run these races again. And yeah, I think the race is going to plan out to suit him actually. He's got a lot of speed. They go a good gallop here, and I think he will pick up the pieces. And he's the one I'm going to put forward.
There's another one.
Hello everyone. Yes, I think the race does revolve around Kopeck de Boards. There's been chat, I know in the exchanges the other day, they were talking about the possibility of Kopeck going up to the Turners and then the Final Demand going up to the Albert Bartlett's. Any advance on that?
Well, I did see a bit of movement on the exchanges, and also potentially the new line was being backed a little bit for Supreme, but I don't think that's happening either, is it?
Well, for me, I'd have a lot more doubts about Kopeck de Board up in trip. I think he could be Willie Mullins' next superstar. And to answer the questions about, could he boil over, could he do all these things wrong? He's done it twice, his last 2 starts, and still won hugely impressively. The first day he tried to dismantle every hurdle on the course, and he jumped a lot better the last time a Leopardstown went destroying a Grade 1 field behind him. I think, for me, he's just a cut above these, and I'd take the chance on him sort of getting it together on the day, really. The one at a bit of a price for me is Work Ahead for Henry de Bromhead.
Yeah.
He seems to turn up at the festival, and his horses seem to improve £7 or £10, and he always gets a couple of winners here. I thought he's got a likeable attitude, and he's got some good form in the book, so he'd be the one behind Kopeck de Board, albeit I think he will win Kopeck de Board.
Okay, James, from a bookmaker's point of view, you expecting Kopeck de Board to go off in this race odds on?
From a bookmaker's point of view, I am shitting myself by the first day. I should be absolutely skint. So we've got Kopeck de Board, Constitution Hill, Marsborough. I'm bringing 3 pairs of underpants, because if the first one wins, I'm definitely going to have to change them after that. But I think Kopeck, if I was a punter, so from a bookie's point of view, you're always trying to attack the favourites. It's the first race, the Supreme, this horse is a little bit fizzy, there's kind of reasons to take him on, but I think he's going to be a falsely big price because all the bookies are trying to get him in the first race, and the truth is he's better than the rest of them. There's questions, like from a bookie's point of view, I'm always trying to look for a reason to attack a horse, and there are a few here, but just look back at his last run, this horse is a special horse, and I think I'm going to do my bollocks, and I think he's going to win.
Well, there we have it, people. There's 1-0 to the punters by the sound of it. Okay, thank you guys. Moving on, by the signs of it, James, it doesn't get much easier in the second race for you. We move on to the Arkle and the mightily impressive Margeborough. I'll start with you if that's okay. Again, are you expecting Margeborough to continue the support to continue to come for this one?
I think so. I think there's only 4 runners, the first 4 in the betting for a start.
Okay.
So if you're going to have an each way bet, I'd probably do it now. Been told yesterday there's only 4 runners, so you can still get a couple of 2 places on the day. It'll be win only, but again, the Arkle's a race that's just not good for bookies. I think 9 of the last 13 favourites have won it. It's a bookies killer race completely. And Margeborough again is just better. The only thing that might save us is his jumping. You want to be closing your eyes a little bit when he's jumping over the last, but again, I think this, from my point of view, it's a race I'm not going to go hard in. I'm trying to damage limitation the first couple of races.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and Alan, I suppose if you could be riding one of these in this race, would it be Margeborough, or would you like the lovely grey Lotus?
Yeah, I think from a jockey's point of view, you don't think too much harder than the betting. So if something's a couple of points shorter than anything else, the chances are that's going to be your best chance of winning, really. So, I mean, from a punter's point of view, you're looking for value, so it's a different prospect. I think Margeborough is the class above these again, really, and his jumping is probably his biggest chance of getting beaten. He's a big, aggressive, ignorant bastard, to be honest. He looks to me young and fresh at the job, and he's still quick with his jumping when he's been making mistakes in Ireland. So he could get away with a couple of bad mistakes and still win with his head in his chest. But I still think I would be twitchy backing him as a horse to, if he tips up once in his life, you know, it might be when you back him a 2-1 on. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I get that completely. Tom, Margeborough for you? I'm sure it will be.
No, I'd be taking Margeborough on here actually. I've not been impressed with his jumping that much. Look, he's good winning up the Triumph Hurdle last season. He's been immaculate in both starts, obviously on fences, but I think there are a few chinks in his armour here. I'm going to take one with Le de Sud. He was a very good hurdler. He was second in 2 of the most competitive handicaps last season in the county hurdle and also the Betfair. He looked quite weak in his finishes over hurdles, but I thought he's definitely changed that going over fences. He bolted up there over fences at Cheltenham. Then he went on to win a good race at Sandown where he had to really knuckle down and showed probably a different side to him. Since then he ran at Warwick where he only just scrambled to beat a horse called Rubode. He was coming back over the line that day, but he had to do a lot of donkey work. He's sort of a horse that will need to take a lead, and I think he might just get that here. And I think he's a very good jumper, travels well, he's got all the right attributes to win an Arkle, so I'm going to go with that.
Jamie and Fergal, I suppose this could be quick with both of you, but if you could train one of these, I think it would be Margeborough, surely.
I think you're right, it would be. But he's only a 5-year-old, and he's got very little experience. I agree, Le de Sud, he's run 5 times over fences, and he jumps well. He's got the hardened experience from being a proper handicap hurdler. He was second in the county last year. He's a hardened warrior, and he's got the experience over fences. So at the prices, I would certainly be taking on Margeborough. He's the horse I want to train, but I'll be taking him on here in the Arkle if I was betting, for sure. There's a form line really through Touch Me Not. Sorry, Fergal. Just thought I'd talk a bit more. You wanted a quick chat, did you? Sorry. Touch Me Not. Margeborough beat Touch Me Not by 9 lengths, and Le de Sud beat Touch Me Not by 3 lengths. So on a complete form line, Margeborough should win. But I would be taking that hardened attitude of Le de Sud over Margeborough in this particular case.
Yeah, I won't repeat it all again, but I definitely will be going with Le de Sud. I think it's just his experience, his Cheltenham form, all of that. It's going to be, if you wanted to train one, would be Marshall, but I think Le de Sud will really put it up to him. So fingers crossed.
Well, that was a bit of a surprise. I was expecting a lot more confidence behind Margeborough there, but there we go. I completely understand the reasons. Gents, let's kick on to the Mayor's Hurdle, which is a brilliant race at the festival, albeit sometimes it means horses sidestep the champion. Lossie may have been well supported today, and probably annoyingly so for lots of punters, whether that horse actually takes its chance. But I think Lossie May runs in the champion hurdle. That's my view, but I still think Willie will have the favourite in this race and probably be in Jade de Grugy. But this is a really open affair, Fergal, isn't it?
Yeah, and we'll have Dice Artinas, who's really gone under the radar because she's had one bad run. She ran very well in the Great Wood. Probably turned around a bit soon then at Ascot because she put her heart and soul into the Great Wood. And then after Ascot, she just wasn't right, and horses weren't right, and then she came right and knocked into herself, as horses do. But yeah, I would be really surprised, as we will talk about the champion hurdle, but I'll be really surprised if Willie Mullins is going to rely on State Man to win him a champion hurdle. I think Lossy Mount will certainly go there. I think I don't think State Man will get anywhere near Constitution Hill, and I don't think Willie will leave State Man to bear the flag for him there. I think they'll have Lossy Mount. He actually said after the Dublin Racing Festival when she fell that he didn't see anything on the day not to go to the champion hurdle. So I think she'll go there because I think he will have the favourite in Jade Grugy, and I think that will be a worthy favourite as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Jamie?
Yeah, Nicky Henderson and JP supplemented Joyeuse in here, and supplemented this morning. I think it was $4,500. Obviously, she won it.
That's the equivalent to a tenner to JP McManus, though, isn't it?
Yeah, especially after you've won the Betfair hurdle as well, whatever it is, William Hill hurdle these days. Schweppes and the Take Gold Trophy, whichever one it is, that big handicap hurdle at Newbury. It's a shame they don't have names, I think, isn't it? These handicap hurdles. But anyway, she won that and obviously paid for the supplementary fee. I think she's Epatant's sister. She would have been. I think she would have gone close last year. It was an incredible bit of placing. She won a novice hurdle at Taunton last year, and therefore she wasn't a novice when she went for the Betfair hurdle. And the rules of the Betfair hurdle that any novice has got to have run 4 times before running in that. But because she won at Taunton last year, she wasn't a novice, and she'd only had 3 runs prior to it. She was incredibly well handicapped, and she bolted up. And they've obviously supplemented her for this. I think she's got a right chance. So I'll go Joyeuse.
Love that.
Yeah, I think the race really revolves around whether Lossy Mouth runs here or not. If she does, she wins, as simple as that. But I agree with Fergal. He can't rely on State Man to beat Constitution Hill, because it simply can't happen in my opinion. So that said, I think Lossy Mouth probably will go for the champion. But we'll have to see next week come entry stage. If she doesn't run, then Jade Grugy is my idea of the winner. She's a good 4th there last year at Cheltenham in the 2-mile novice, where simply wasn't quick enough for that race. Since then went out to win over 2.5 mile at Ferry House in a Grade 1. Didn't see her since until recently, where she absolutely bolted up a punch down, again over 2.5. This is a trip, and yeah, if Lossy Mouth doesn't run, Jade Grugy will win.
Yeah, I think I'd echo the sentiment about Lossy Mouth if she does take her place in this race. I'm hoping for the champion hurdle's sake and for fans of the sport's sake she goes in that race, because it just adds a bit more meat to it. I'm actually really interested, Fergal, to ask with Dice Enos off a mark of 135, is it a straightforward question to go in this race with her, or what's the thinking?
Yeah, my daughter Fern said we should run in one of the handicaps, and she'd claim off her, but we decided against that. I think she just didn't really enjoy the hubbub of a 20 runner handicap, and she locked on quite keen in the Great Wood, and that's what cost her in the end really. And she's been off again for so long that we just thought it would be calmer waters over 2.5 miles, and Johnny can drop her in and just ride a race and get her to run well and finish. That was the idea behind it.
Yeah, well, certainly be like an easier watch when you're sort of taking on 8 or 9 rivals than 24, isn't it? But I quite like your horse at a price then to run well. Really, it's 20-1 with Dragon Bet, is it, James?
Yeah, but they're always shit odds. I wouldn't pay too much attention to them. Yeah, no, 20-1 at the moment.
Yeah, so I think at a price she'd be dropped in, be ridden to run well, and could therefore run really well, I think.
I'll buy you a drink if she wins, Ferg. You'll save me a few quid there. I think Joyeuse is going to be a big plunge horse on the day. Now supplemented. Really impressive last time out. I can see that it's currently 6-1 with us. I think that'll go off a lot shorter, probably half in price. But the horse, before the Joyeuse news today, the horse I was all over was Golden Ace. We had a preview night last week with Lorcan Williams. He was so sweet on this horse. She hadn't been right all season. She ran at Taunton. It was the wrong trip. He thought he was going to have to pull her up halfway through. She ended up beating Burdett Road, which is the best form in this race by a long way. So, apart from the Joyous Gamble, which I think will come, Golden Ace is definitely the one I'm on side with. I don't think the great Jade Grugy form's that good. It's it's okay. She's decent, but she's not bomb-proof by any amount. So yeah, I think Golden Ace is definitely going to run a good race. The vibes are all very good from there, but Joyous will be a gamble on the day.
Okay, so we're expecting, maybe from you guys, by the sound of it, some big runs from Jay de Grugy and Joyeuse there, and Golden Ace, maybe I know a few people like as well. Okay, so we kick on the champion hurdle. I don't know about anybody else, but this year's champion hurdle really does sort of get the juices going. It could be an absolute epic race to watch and just enjoy. Constitution Hill looking every bit, as far as I'm concerned, as good, somewhere near as good as he was anyway. Lossiemouth, hopefully, as we've pointed on, takes a chance here. And then I suppose the fly in the ointment, Brighter Days Ahead, which, based on what we've seen from a visual perspective, she could be just about anything. Ferg, I'll come to you with this one, mate. Still Constitution Hill for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I'm Irish, I'm a GB trainer, and I think this is one we need to settle the nerves. I haven't seen. We haven't seen anything really this year that would suggest that Constitution Hill isn't backed himself. And I think the fact that Nicky Henderson said that he wasn't going to do a public gallop with him, and then did a public gallop with him, it just showed the confidence that he had in the horse. He worked very well. I saw a brief glimpse of a podcast because Paddy Brennan is still running him down, and said the two horses he were 120 horses, but he galloped well. He galloped through the line, and he looked phenomenal. I did a preview night with Nicky Henderson last night, and he bored on and on about Constitution Hill, but we had to take the microphone off him in the end because we were all getting cold. I think they turned the heating off.
Would you not bore on if you trained him though?
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, he's very sweet in him, and he has to turn up. He's got it. He made that mistake at Cheltenham the last day, but probably because he'd won the race and was all just so easy. I think in a champion hurdle, and I think they're putting a pacemaker in for Brighter Days Ahead, which is like they must be getting Frankeloff back out of training or something because she goes so quick herself. So. It'll be an interesting race, but I think the one thing from sitting next to Nicky Henderson last night was the confidence he had in him in Constitution Hill, and the fact that they were going to put a pacemaker in, the fact that there was going to be a huge pace. He just loved the sound of all of that because he just knows that Constitution Hill has been there and done it. I mean, yeah, I think it's great that Brighter Days Ahead is there, and hopefully Lossiemouth will be there. And look, Stateman's the current reigning champion. We'd love to see him turn up again, but we haven't really seen him this year. And I think it'd be a great race. But I really hope, and I do think Constitution Hill will win it.
Thank you, Jamie.
I don't know about anyone else in this room, but we love champions. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It's great having a champion, and us as kids, we remember back to those days that you idolise these horses, these jockeys, and my kids idolise Constitution Hill, and I really, really want him to win. I really hope he does, not only from an English point of view, but from just a general sporting fan. I want Constitution Hill to win. But I think this is going to be tough. And I think Brighter Days Ahead is pretty smart. She got beaten last time at Cheltenham by Golden Ace, but that was a slowly run race, bit of a sprint in the finish. They know her. They'll go a good gallop, and I think Constitution Hill might be uneasy. And I think Brighter Days Ahead's got every chance. I was at Newbury when Constitution Hill worked with Sergino just before the Hennessy. The Coral Gold Cup, or whatever it is these days.
Don't worry about sponsors.
It's not about Victor anyway. Sorry, Dragon Back. And I thought Constitution Hill worked well, but Sergino was just a machine. And everyone said Constitution Hill didn't work well. I think it was the opposite. I think Sergino just worked like an absolute aeroplane. And unfortunately, I think Constitution Hill might be vulnerable here to brighter days ahead, as much as I hope Constitution Hill does win.
Tom?
Yeah, I'm all over Constitution Hill here. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation going into the season whether he returned to his best after what happened last year. Obviously, didn't make this festival where he was suspected of colic after a lot of mucus was found in his airwaves. Look, I thought he had a demolition job in the Christmas hurdle there. Lost him out was there back in second. I think he's returned better than ever. His work suggested that at Kempton recently, where what a difference a year makes, by the way, compared to last season. I think we're looking for something to beat him. He's 10 from 10 over hurdles. I'm going to keep it simple. He's the best around. He's the best champion hill I've seen in the amount of years I've been watching racing. I'd like to ask Fergal and Jamie to say if they see anything better, but I haven't seen anything, so.
Yeah. There's only one, isn't there, if you're going to put another name? It's Sister Brack, isn't it?
Right, yeah, it's probably the best I've seen.
Yeah, for me as a racing fan, I'll be watching this race and I'll be nervous because I want Constitution Hill to win. I'd love to see, like Jamie said, we love seeing people and horses in this sport achieve greatness, and I'd love to see it with him. And
he's a bit of the people's horse sort of situation.
Yeah, and he's got that story arc, and he's been sort of written off and defeated in everyone's minds without actually running and losing a race, really. So I'm with him. I think Brighter Days Ahead posted a huge number form-wise when she won over Christmas, and they'll try and take him into deep waters with a pacemaker and go in a searching gallop. And perhaps the only risk to me with Constitution Hill is that he's getting attacked from all angles. They'll be trying to stretch him from the front, and you might have the Willie Mullins horses just trying to take their time and see if they can pick him off at the end. But this could be potentially, if he runs somewhere near what his best is, and he still retains that. This could be they could post a number in this sort of race that you might not see again, because the best horses need to be running against the best horses to achieve high numbers, and Brighter Days Ahead is coming off the back of doing that herself. And if he goes and beats her, then I think it could be one that goes down in the memory for a long time.
Giving her a kicking with £7 land. James, I suppose for everybody here, you'll see on the screens that Dragon Bet obviously are with us here this evening. They've put out a variety of boosts and things for the evening, which James will talk about as the evening goes. And you'll see on the screen in a second if you want to sign up. But James, not to sell your side of things, I want to ask you more around Constitution Hill. Is he going to be a big liability for all bookmakers, do you think?
He is for me, that's for sure. I know Jamie said people like champions. I hate them. They cost me money. When Sprinter Sacra won the champion chase a few years ago, my kids didn't eat for 3 weeks, honestly. So those horses are expensive, and occasionally for a superstar,
rubbish.
for a superstar, you don't mind paying. But I can lay this horse at 4 to 6. He has had a string of problems. Everyone is betting him on exactly what he used to be. I mean, he's looked good in his gallop, but I just think once you lift the bonnet, no one knows what's going to be there. And I can take this horse on at 4 to 6. You've got Brighter Days Ahead who'll be out in front. You've got Lossiemouth will sit on the shoulder. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to take on a horse at a short price with competition like this. So if you do have a bet, if you're on the course, have a bet with me on Constitution Hill, get to the front of the queue, because I'm likely to run out of money paying out by the time you get to the back.
Okay, so we've covered those first 3 races, James, and talking of boosts that you've sort of sent me today and spoken about, the 3 that you've just mentioned, what price can you go on the doubles and the trebles of those horses?
Yeah, they're all on the website, so you can check in the Dragon Bet website, but you'll see Constitution Hills in most of them, so it probably tells you my feeling about them. But I think we've gone Kopek and Constitution Hill double 11 to 4. Kopek and Marlsborough both to win at 5 to 2. There's loads of them. I'll bore you all reading them. But have a look at the website, you'll see. But I'm taking on Constitution Hill big time.
Good stuff. And for what it's worth, I think Constitution Hill absolutely bolt up. I think everything they'll try and do will give Constitution Hill the perfect toe into the race, and that no matter what Brighter Days Ahead does, I can just see almost visualise something similar to the Supreme, where Brighter Days Ahead tries to be the John Bon in this situation and tries to press, and you've got pace in there to burn, and I think Constitution Hill will just get a perfect toe, and I think it'll bolter. I really do. I think it'll win by something like 7 or 8 lengths. Have that. Anyway, day two. Turners starts off with an absolute bang. It's a brilliant race, the Turners this year, and I'm delighted to say that the horse that I think will win this race is the New Lion, and thankfully we've got one for GB that might be able to take on the Irish, but they are still strong. Fergal, in this race it looks a really good one, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the New Line, but I suppose the one worry with the New Line will be that the Challow hasn't got the best record in the world for producing festival winners. So I think I think it would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice if the New Line runs well. I think the Yellow Clay, if he goes there, he's got a fair chance. But Final Demand was very impressive. I think he's the one for us.
And you've got yours in
yeah,
there.
our own horse. Yeah, look, it's unfortunately he won the Grade 2 at Cheltenham on Trials Day, so failed the dope test, but he's off all medication now. So we call him Lance Armstrong. So he'll hopefully go there and put things right. He's in great form, and I think the ground, he's been running on sort of softer ground, which Keelan's always said he doesn't really like. I think the ground drying out would be a real plus for him, and hopefully he can go and put some wrongs right.
Yeah, we were second in the Challow behind the New Lion, and he cantered through that race. He really did. We ran our chap in the Albert Bartlett. I'm sure we'll get to that later on, but he cantered through the race like a future champion hurdle winner. If I was being honest, he looked an absolute aeroplane. That was run on remarkably good to soft ground at Newbury. The Challow, as Fergal says, has a very bad record in the race, but the Challows usually run on very deep ground, and it was very different this year. So I think we can scrap the usual sort of chat about the Challow in Cheltenham Festival.
I think that's the best Challow we've seen in many a year.
Yeah, and we'll win the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, there we go. We'll talk about that in a minute. Hopefully you will. Just sorry, Tom, just before you go in that, I'm sorry to sound like the Tesco's caller here, but someone's blocked the whole car park up. So if you're driving a Kia, Reg PY21 WMA, no jokes, you're blocking the car park, can you go and move?
I'll just get my head down and say it wasn't me, to be honest.
Yeah, that would stay there for the rest of the night if that was mine. And it's the other door. Oh dear. Sorry. Okay, Tom, we'll get back on track, mate. The New Lion, Final Demand. I think the Yellow Clay shouldn't be running here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm all over the New Lion here. He's looked absolutely brilliant, hasn't he, in all 4 starts. He's always been highly regarded, and he's justified that every time he's gone to the track. He's a very good jumper. He's so quick from A to B. I think he's got all the right attributes for this sort of race. I think he's got too many gears for Final Demand, actually. I think he'll be gone. I don't think you see which way he's gone. Yeah, he's definitely my idea of the winner. I thought he's a very impressive winner of the shallow hurdle. Yeah, there's a bit of a sort of form debate there of what he's beat and what not, but I've got a lot of respect for Jamie's horse in Wendigo. I can see him running a massive race in the Albert Bartlett, so I wouldn't look too much into that. There's a lot of hype around Regent Stroll, wasn't there, around the time as well. He's been disappointing since, but you know, Paul Nicholls has always regarded that horse, and he knows the time of day, of course, so don't worry about that. This is the one to focus on, and I think he's the idea of the winner.
Cool. Alan?
Same with me. Yeah, I think for me the Challow question mark is answered by watching the race and seeing how he went through it.
Agreed. Yeah.
He's got oozes class and cantered through the race and won a bit cheekily, really, didn't he? So he'd be the one for me. Yeah, simple as that, really.
That's, James, are you running scared of anything in this one? Because it looks a little bit more sort of like a bookmaker's race as far as I can see.
I'm not sure it is a bookmaker's race. I think it'll be the front two, and I think the New Lion will start favouring. It'll win unless it rains. I mean, the softer it gets, the better chance the final demand's
Yeah,
got. But I think the new line's just really classy. I was there and you really took my breath away. It's not often you see a horse just so visually impressive, and he really was that.
Yeah, agreed. That's a unanimous across the board, the new Lion. So, and I agree, the new Lion for me, I think he's well above average, and I think going back to that, the Cellos gets crammed year and year, but if you go back through and look through the horses that have run in that this year, there is winners flying out of that race, left, right and centre, none more so than obviously Jamie's horse that he's just mentioned, who finished second. So, the new Lion all round. The Brown Advisory Chase, which actually has a current market favourite from last year's Turner's winner, Ballyburn. He's more of your flamboyant type of horse, and I think the ground seems to have come in his favour, because I'm not sure actually at this stage in his career whether he really wants a slog, but he might get away with it this week, given the drying ground, and he's definitely the classiest horse in the race. James, you eyeballed me there. I thought I'd come to you. Give us a bookmaker's talk on this.
No, I agree. He's the classiest horse in the race, but this isn't a race where the classiest horse always wins. And I'm happy to take him on. He's got that kind of that funny head carriage. He's short enough for me, and we've had a few warm accounts, so we use a couple of accounts for kind of marking our card, basically. So these guys would come on and we kind of shorten the odds on the back of them. They've all come on and back better days ahead in the last couple of days, so that's one I'll be keeping on side. Now, I'm happy to lay Ballyburn. I think, like I say, he's the best horse in the race, but he's far from unbeatable.
For me, I think it's going to be a tough start to the week for James and his bookmaking colleagues, really. I think a lot of favourites are going to go in the first 2 days, and I'm with Ballyburn here. I think he's somehow, from hosing up in Turner's last year, has turned unfashionable by getting beat.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, just people try and knock him a bit, and he was beaten by Sergino, another sort of superstar in waiting a little bit, or already is, over 2 mile round one of the sharpest tracks in the country, and he hasn't done a lot wrong for me. I think people are saying he's too classy for this, whether they're trying to imply he wouldn't stay, but to my mind, class is a good thing, and I think what I really liked about this horse is, well, two things. I think people have sort of tried to have a go at his jumping a little bit, and he might not be the quickest in the world, but he looks pretty safe to me, to be honest. And the other thing, up in trip from last time, first time over 3 mile, he was so impressive the way he picked up from the last to the line at Leopardstown over Christmas. He was upsides and looked like he was going to have to battle to win, and he pulled 4, 5, 6 lengths away readily.
Sign of a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, and up in trip, that ticks that box for me, so I'm going to go with Ballyburn.
Tom, come back across to you, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I'm all over Ballyburn here. He looked a superstar last season, didn't he? He ended up winning 3 Grade 1s. Look, he's firmly playing in his place, wasn't he, by Sergino in a 2 mile race around Kempton. He just didn't have the speed to live with that one that day, and there's not many horses that would. I think Willie Bollins made a mistake, and it just got to show that we're not all perfect, because he doesn't often get it wrong. But then he's since run out to be an impressive winner of a 2 mile 5, very strong at the line that day, suggesting the 3 mile trip's definitely well within range, and I think you'd likely see him in the Gold Cup next year. He'd go on to be better things,
Okay, Jamie?
What a shame Sergino isn't here.
Yeah.
It really is, because he is a superstar. He really is. So Salvador Mundi will win the Supreme, and Ballyburn will win this.
Okay, nice and straightforward. Go back to the Supreme. What is that, a double you're telling us to get involved with, or big?
Yeah, you can't see, people. So I agree with Alan. There's no such thing as being too classy. He's just the best horse in the race. He bumped into one against Sergino, and I'd be interested in what price are you giving if you are going to take him on, James?
We're 11:08 on the site, but I think I'll send a message.
Wow!
to
Hang on, you said you're going to take him on. Come on,
hang on,
come on! Give him a bit of value if you're going to take him on.
I'll send a message to the traders. We'll get him up to 7 or 4 for the next hour.
There you go. There's some value. 7 or 4. Get involved.
But yeah, I think he's the best horse in the race.
Okay. One thing, ground. Obviously, a lot of these horses, when I was looking through the form of it, a lot of them have been running in sort of, I suppose, quite bad ground when I was looking through. And I'm not that I'm saying this is an absolute certainty or anything like that, but I think one that will run well at a decent price is Gorgeous Tom.
I like him as well, actually.
Henry de Bromhead You know, he's a class trainer.
Well done, Alan. Mentioning just when somebody else has mentioned him.
Well,
You know,
I actually said this at
jump on the bandwagon.
the Dragon Bet preview evening last week, and then I was so hell bent on selling Ballyburn that I didn't scroll down and remember that I quite like
These jockeys that can't scroll.
Look, he was beating a length 4 out of 5 runners at Fairyhouse. Time before that, he won quite nicely at Cork, beating a horse called Monbeck Park, who absolutely bolted up at Leopardstown this week. I just think the good ground is going to be really important to Gorgeous Tom, and at a decent price. Look, 11 to 8. If you're not someone who wants to be back in 11 to 8 shots, I think something at 16 to 1 might appeal, and that's the one I just want to put forward for you guys. So, anyway, that's me. Right, Queen Mother Champion Chase. I don't know about you guys. When I looked through this and looked in detail, I just cannot see any way they get John Bond beaten here. I really can't. Jamie, you're straight in. I felt like you wanted to tell me I was right. Am I right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want me to elaborate?
Elaborate. Go.
No, listen, John Bond is surely going to win this. However, wouldn't it be nice? Like Marie Nationale was a wonderful winner of the Supreme back along, and it'd be a very apt winner with Michael O'Sullivan obviously losing his life. You know, just terrible, really sad. And you know, we're all in this game for sport, and we all love it. But it just really hurts, doesn't it? It hurts everybody. I didn't really know Michael myself, but it hurts everybody. And it's a very, very sad day when he lost his life a couple of weeks ago. And it would be amazing if Marie Nationale could go and win this. But yeah, I think John Bond will. At a longer price, we won't get too soppy. At a longer price, Quilixios 40 to 1.
I like him as well, Jamie.
Thanks, Alan.
I'm only joking.
Go on over to Alan.
Alan, being as you've just checked forward Quilixius, I like him as well.
No, I was only teasing. Although I'm sure, Jamie's probably picked out a good one there.
Keep scrolling down.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling.
I've gone all the way to the bottom and back up to John Bond. I've done these preview evenings in previous years, and sometimes you find yourself looking to go for something that isn't a favourite, but sometimes you just can't force it. And so far, you know, I do really think in the first 2 days, I think James's children are at risk of not eating for another 3 weeks here. I just can't see Solness, perhaps, but I just don't think anything gets near him otherwise. So John Bond for me.
Okay, Ferg, you John Bond as well?
Yeah, they'll grab his jumping, they'll do all that, but he's the best horse in the race again. And it's
why does everybody seem to want to grab what he's about? Because as far as I can see, he does everything very straightforward. I suppose if you train him, it must be a dream to train.
Yeah, Aidan Coleman is working for us now, and he said he to start off with, he wasn't the most natural jumper. It's a bit straight back, but he said, bless you, he said over the last few years, the last couple of seasons, that he's got much better and he can shorten a lot better. And again, Nicky Henderson was so confident about him last night. He was fairly pissed, mind, so I'd probably be confident about. He was even confident about Dice Artino, so he doesn't even train it. But no, he was very confident about John Bond.
I still think it's a bit of a hangover from being Duvan's brother. Do you remember when he was in his shadow for years? Obviously he's well and truly come out of that now, and costing 550 odd, 60 grand as well. I think he's spent a long time
He
getting
looks
over.
cheap now, doesn't he?
He does, good value.
Great value if you're in that kind of ballpark figure. Tom, are you going to just agree and say John Bond? Should we kick on, or?
Yeah, I fancy John Bond. Keep it simple. Look, he's looked better than ever this season. I don't think there's anything around at the moment to challenge him. He's looked better than ever. If it was on the softer side, which I don't think it's going to be, getting at Warrior would be the likeliest one to take him on. But that said, he's going to have too many gears for him. And yeah, I just don't see anything beating him. So.
Okay. And another nightmare race for you by the signs of it.
Yeah, but I'm just massively on the chase with John Bon. I've done my stones every time he's ran, so I thought I might as well just go in again. The only thing that might be in my favour, and I don't know how this has any relevance, is that of the last 11 odds-on favourites in this race, only 2 of them have won. For some reason, this race is a heavy odds-on graveyard for favourites.
Yeah.
So kind of, I'm hanging on to that, but I mean, that's got no relevance. John Bon's a different horse. This is a different day. And he's better than the rest, isn't he? But I'm still going to keep chasing.
Again, for value punters, I think there's one in here that again will really appreciate good ground, and I've started to really take that angle this week. I think Founder 50 for Gordon Elliott ran pretty well in the Arkle when it was bottomless last year. Got beaten by Gaelic Warrior. He won his first 2 his runs this season, both on good, nice ground. Then went and sort of. I suppose Gordon said you could put a line for his last run. He's a massive price. I'm not saying he's going to win. I don't think he beats John Bon, but again, I'm not sure how many runners there might be here. You might get good each way anti-post value. He's around 20 to 1 mark, I think, and at the very least, and I think he's a bit of value. So you don't always have to back the favourite. There is some value out there. Okay, talking next about the champion bumper. Fergal, I noted you got a couple of entries here. Will they take their chance?
I think Caelan will be the only one to run.
Okay.
But yeah, he look, his form of his Warwick bumper when he won hasn't worked out. He loved the ground. He's very fast. We took him to Warwick a couple of weeks ago to work, and he worked really well. So at a big price, I think he's probably about 25 to 1. Keelan Woods, honestly, he could be riding a 3-legged donkey. He'd think he could win on it. He's an unbelievable, confident young man. And he's really hopeful of a big run from him. I was very impressed with Willie's horse Game of Inches when it won the last day. It just absolutely sauntered through the race. Again, it's hard sometimes these bumpers to know what they beat, but that looked like a future champion. So I think Game of Inches will be my pick. It'll be interesting to see which one Patrick rides.
Okay. And Jamie, of the Willie Mullins bingo in this race, where does your...
Well, it's a great shame that Win Beneath My Wings have been ruled out for David Pipe, because he looked an aeroplane when he won that listed bumper at Ascot. And he was my idea of one of the bankers of the week, in fairness.
Me too.
He looks an absolute aeroplane. So it's a shame he's out. So Willie's probably going to win it.
Yeah. Okay. Tom, have you had a look through and decided where you're going with this one?
Yeah, I think Gigglesdowns have found themselves a cheap horse here in Calypso Chance at 85,000 after winning English point-to-point. Yeah, obviously they're not very fashionable these days, but look, what he's done on the track over in Ireland has been brilliant, I thought. He absolutely bolted up in his first start. He then won on to win a Grade 2. He showed a different side that day. He had to knock it down the final furlong, and he powered away at the finish. He can do it both ways. He can travel, and also when he has to put his head down, he will stick his neck out. So he showed a lot of attributes for a race like this, and yeah, there's a lot to like about this one in a very open race this year, I think.
Okay. Alan, the bumper poses a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Have you got any answers?
Unironically, I liked Jamie's horse that isn't going to run, the Pipe horse. I thought that looked like an aeroplane at Ascot.
You better ask him first next time, haven't you? I'll start following him.
I'll have a look at your, I can see your phone over your shoulder there.
Keep scrolling.
Anyway, so I haven't really got a strong opinion other than I know Calypso's Chance was all the rage. It's all anybody talked about pre-Christmas for the bumper, that he was the one that was, Ireland's best chance, and I actually think it's a bit of recency bias to the ones who've come out since. For what it's worth, I feel like he's maybe his price has grown a little bit, having not run basically, but I haven't really got a strong sort of opinion on form-wise and all that.
Okay. Now, James, you've been absolutely hammered all the way through day 1 and day 2. You're on your knees. Is this race going to get you? Yeah. Is this race going to get you out of trouble?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's only one favourite's won in the last 13 years, so it's not a good race for favourites. What I would say, if you are going to the course, shop around, because this is a non-handicap. Obviously, lots of runners. All the bookies will be first 3 places. Twist their arm, buy them a drink. They might give you an extra place on the course. So
okay.
I don't have an opinion. It's not my job to have an opinion in this race, but I'd be happy just to kind of lay any horse. This is a perfect race for a bookmaker. There's only 3 places, like I say, and there's just this improvement can come from anywhere. So not to have a strong opinion, I'm hoping to get a few quid out the race.
Okay. Two for me to talk about. One is Jalon Duderis, who runs in the other at the Giggins Town colours also. Very interesting. Ran and finished third in this race last year. Just an unusual sort of move to keep a horse back and run it again in the exact same race the following years, given that obviously the circumstances around that. And I think that is interesting enough, especially given Gordon Elliott likes to plot horses in that kind of way. And I just think that, I know the English get crammed, and Paul Nicholls has had a really tough season for sure. Given, well, by his standards, let's just say. Anyway, I'm sure most trainers would give their left arm to still have his ammunition and what he's doing. But no dramas this end. The way he talked about this horse, and also I went to a preview evening at Dunkerton's a few weeks back. Harry Cobden was just sort of waxing lyrical about it. I think they think they've got a really good one here, and it's very unusual for Paul Nicholls to run horses in this race. He doesn't overly like it. He's even expressed that himself. So the fact he is, I think, is a little bit of a clue in itself, and I think it's worth a couple of quid each way on possibly that one on the day. So hopefully that helps you guys.
Another English point-to-point winner.
Exactly, yeah. We're back. Okay, so the next race we're going to talk about is the Mares Novices Hurdle, and I've got to come to Jamie first, because he's got a horse I know he loves a lot. He introduced us to this horse, and I think Fergal's got one as well, so we'll talk to him in a second. But Hollygrove Cha-Cha is a horse you really like, isn't it?
Yeah, I love her. She's won 5 of her 6 career starts, so what's not to like, really? The only time she got beaten was down at Taunton in a listed race. As you know, Taunton, tight, sharp, quick track. That was on good ground at Christmas. We finished second to Jubilee Alpha. Jubilee Alpha's 9-1. We came out, won a grade 2 next time out, and almost got outstayed by Fergal's horse. But she did look the best horse in the race. I'm going to say that, Fergal. You might disagree, but she did look the best horse in the race, and she travelled through it well. She's won 5 of her 6 starts. As I say, it's a route that we took with You Wear It Well successfully. She won the Jane Seymour and then came out and won this race a couple of years ago. And this mare has all the attributes that You Wear It Well has. She's far easier to train, far more straightforward as well. And I think she's massively overpriced at 33-1.
When you got beat by Jubilee Alpha, I think Jubilee Alpha's looked more of a sort of tight track type of horse, and that was at Taunton, right? Is it fair to say Hollygrove Cha-Cha, that wouldn't have been her type of track?
Yeah, it certainly wouldn't be in her track. The only reason why I ran her was to try and get I thought she'd be in the first 3 and get a bit of black type.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can get a bit of black type into these mares, the better. So I wouldn't ordinarily have run her in that race, but I did just to go and nick a bit of black type before then going up to... and it actually suited finish second, because we then didn't carry a penalty in the grade 2 at Sandown. Interestingly enough, this year you don't carry a penalty at Cheltenham if you win a listed or grade 2 prior to it. So there are no penalties in this race. We won it with You Wear It Well with a penalty, okay. and Ahmed won't carry a penalty this time round.
How do they compare, You Wear It Well and Hollygrove Cha-Cha at this same stage of their careers?
Yeah, very similar. But Hollygrove Cha-Cha is far easier to train. She's got a great mind on her. Okay. She'll cope with any situation. She'll cope with the hubbub of Cheltenham really well. This is on the new course, which this is going to sound really Irish. Apologies to those Irish amongst us. But the new course is more of a stamina test than the old course.
Yeah.
The old course, the first 2 days, the Champion Hurdle, Champion Chase. The new course, the second 2 days, Stairs Hurdle, Gold Cup. So the new course is more of a stamina test, and obviously we've been doing most of our winning over more than 2 miles. Got caught out, as you say, at Taunton over a sharp, quick 2 miles on good ground. So listen, 33-1 is a serious price for her.
There we go. There's a big price one for you guys. Ferg?
Yeah, we won't have anything in this. Hopefully we'll go and frank the form for Jamie at Ayr on Friday with That'll Do Moss, who I was certain that we'd beat you at Sandown. He even said well done, which meant even worse. And then I had to say well done to him, which really hurt, because I never mean it. But I like the William Mullins horse here, Maureen. And the other one I really like, and I don't think we've seen the best of her, but I think we will now, is Diva Luna, Ben Pauling's horse. And again, Keelan Woods told me this definitely wins. So
Ben absolutely loves this horse, doesn't he?
I know, and he says it hasn't been right all year. Got beat at Lingfield, I think. Then went and won at Cheltenham, so she has got good race course experience. She looked phenomenal last year. Won, I think, first time out, won the listed mares at Market Raising, and then went on and won at Aintree. She looks like she's a massive mare, big and strong. And I think if what he says is true, and normally with trainers, you know when they're lying because their lips are moving. Ben did say that she was the best he's had her.
Yeah.
And I think she could run a massive race.
Agreed. I agree. Yeah. Tom?
Sorry, just jump in there a second, Jamie. It's happened again. I actually quite like Fergal's choice here.
Honestly, I hope you're not getting a fee for tonight, because you're just copying everything we say.
Yeah, well, you're just such good judges, you guys. So
Yeah. Welsh, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd love to know what James thinks, but for me, it seems like a tricky race revolving around Maureen as favourite. I mean, she seems to be a lot on reputation. She's had one run over hurdles. I mean, she one bumper run, one hurdle run, both at long odds on, probably off the back of that reputation.
Yeah.
I understand she's a bit fragile. Probably love to get a bit more experience into a horse coming here, but if I was a bookie, I'd probably say what James says here, and I'll be taking her on at 2-1 or whatever it is. But I thought Diva Luna, yeah, she obviously has some great bumper form, and with Ben Paulin saying that he hasn't been happy with her all year, and now he is happy with her. So I just thought 14-1 odd. Thought she was a bit of value.
Yeah. And surely Maureen is one you are going to try and go after, James, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, she doesn't have the experience of a lot of these horses in the race for a start. That's a big negative. These horses, like Alan said, she's priced on reputation purely than what she's done. I think is Maureen was Paddy's mother, right? So everyone's kind of it was Willie's mother. So there's an assumed thing that she's a good horse because she's named after mother. And Fahim's half sister, is it? Yeah. Is it Fahim's half sister? Yeah.
Yeah. She's backed it up a little bit. She's backed it
very
up. Nice.
6.5 he's got the flat experience. All these horses have been there and done it, and she hasn't done enough anywhere near to justify the price she is. So I'll certainly be taking her on. And I think one favourite in the last 6 years has won this race. It's not exactly a favourite kind of race. Yeah, this will pay for the beans on toast.
So you're getting back a few quid there, Tommy. Where are we at? What are you saying?
Yeah, Gavin Cromwell has an excellent record at Cheltenham, doesn't he? So I think you have to give him a lot of respect every time he sends a horse there. He's nominated 6.5 as his best chance of a win for the week. Look, he's got some great chances, so that alone speaks volumes in my opinion. It's a very useful horse on the flat, achieving a race of 94. Only had the one run over hurdles, which is a slight concern, but jumped very well that day. And they clearly feel that doesn't need any more experience, so I'm going to go with 6.5. Yeah, looks very impressive. So.
Okay. Yeah, Diva Luna I like a lot. Does anybody know if Just a Rose of Paul Nicholls will run here? Because that absolutely blew me away at all.
He says it will.
Okay. Well, I think that in terms of the box of could be anything, she definitely fits that. I mean, that was breathtaking what she done at Taunton. But again, we don't know what she's beat. But I like Diva Luna from a solid point of view. She's got plenty of runs, experience, and I think she'll go well. Okay, so the Jack Richard Novices Chase, which for me is a bit of a shame that they've changed this into a handicap. I know I get the thinking behind it, but I think it does take away a little bit from the class of horse that you see in this race. Tom, I'm going to come to you, mate. I have to come to you. One of your bets of the week should run here, and tell everybody what it is and why it's going to win.
Yeah, well, those that know me have made no secret that Springwell Bay is one of my sort of favourite horses in training. He's entered in 6 races, so God knows where he's going to go, but he's highest up in the betting for this race, and I think it makes sense, you know. Made a perfect start to his chasing career at Chepstow. Since then, he ran a brilliant second, I thought, at Cheltenham behind a horse called Django Bay. He tried to give him £8 that day, and it just simply wasn't an easy task, you know. Django Bay is quite high up in the betting for a lot of the top novices here. Since then he bolted up a handicap debut at New Year's Day at Cheltenham. He went up sort of £9 for that success, so something to make life easy. But he's unexposed of offences, and I think there's a lot more to come. I think he's far from the finished article. and I think you're likely you can see him in a Ryanair next year. I think he's very good, and it's nice for John Joe to have a really high class horse again, I feel.
Okay, so one of Tom's bets of the week. Alan, I've got to come to you first just because I don't want you to copy what Jamie said.
Are we doing the hand? Is this a handicap, isn't it?
Yes, it is, mate.
Oh, yeah. Funnily enough, I haven't really got a strong choice in this game. I thought Jaguar was very impressive. Is he going to this race? Do we know?
It looks that way, yeah.
He did look very good at Cheltenham last time. He looked like he was ridden to do enough on the day, really. And he's been nudged up for that, that performance. But he looks, and I think the Greenall Guerrero team, they seem to obviously had Cheltenham Festival success in the past. The team on the up, I think they can do it on the big day. So looks a straightforward horse and one for me, really.
Okay. Who wants to, Fergal, do you want to go next for us, mate?
Yeah, I agree with Alan. No, I'm joking. I like Colwell Potter here. I think Colwell Potter. I'm not sure what price is Colwell Potter.
He is currently
Give him 100 to 1.
14 to 1, but he's going to shorten if he's
Yeah,
in this race.
I think good ground back on a new course. I think off a mark of 146. I think he probably is a graded horse in a handicap. I think that his reputation probably has gone a little bit before him and his price tag, but I think he's a very, very good horse. And off a mark of 146, I think he could be very dangerous.
Okay. Wasn't expecting that one. Jamie?
I don't disagree with Fergal, and I agree with Alan. I can't remember what he said, but I agree with him. What did you say again? He can't remember. He's still scrolling. I quite like Joseph O'Brien's here. Nürburgring. Is that how we say it?
Yeah, that is how you say it.
He won the Galway Hurdle, and I think he may have just been tittering around for a moment or two.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think he could be. I think he could be the one in this race. Yeah, Nürburgring.
Okay, James. Thursday is your day to get money back in the satchels, and I think this race probably represents a good one for you, doesn't it?
Which race?
The Jack Richards?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Jaguar's form's that strong. The trials thing, the thing he got beat last time out. I think there'd be money for Caldwell and Springwell. Springwell boy will definitely be well supported. I think if he runs, he's going to start favourite, and if you're going to have a bet on that horse, I'd advise doing it now.
Okay.
But that's the only thing I've got. I'm a bookmaker. I've got to try and work out the way the market's going to go. I don't have to find winners, thankfully, but I think Springwell will be really well supported.
Okay. Has anybody? You were with Nicky last night, Ferg. Did he mention whether Jinko Blue will run in this one or not?
By the time we got to Thursday, he was a bottle and a half of red in, so can't remember what he said, to be honest.
And a red nose. Okay, cool. I think Jinko Blue is interested. I'm prepared to forgive that unseat at Ascot. If you do that, then you go back and you looked at some good form where he beat Lara's Bar at Windsor and Johnny Who as well. I thought that was quite good. But I'm with Tom, actually. Ultimately, I think Springwell Bay, wherever it runs, we've loved it all season, and I think it will win. Right, so the Ryanair. A difficult race to assess full stop, really, until those declarations are made. Mainly because you've got the diversions from horses running one place or the other. Factor File is looking the market favourite. I know he'll be very hot in the market if he does run. Has anybody got any, I suppose before I ask your selection, any inclination whether he actually will run here or run in the Gold Cup?
Well, it was, I think he's going to go here. They might, I don't know, what do you think? It sounded like they were going to go here, and then they sounded like everyone was thinking maybe he'd go Gold Cup, but surely he goes here, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if they changed last minute, to be honest, but it's been the plan to come here, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think if you go back and actually listen to everything Willie's talked about for the last 6 months, he's trained this horse as a Gold Cup horse, and you guys would be in a better position than anyone to tell us, but if you're training the horse to run over 3 mile 2 furlongs, I'm guessing you would train that different than you would something running over 2.5 at Cheltenham, or certainly sort of have the idea of how that's going to run, and they've been holding it up to get the trip in over in Ireland, and he's not got it. He's just been beaten by a world beater in Galop and the Champs, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'd take him on. If he does go here, I'd take him on anyway.
Me too.
I don't think you'd necessarily train a horse differently over 2.5 to 3 mile. Maybe the experts can answer.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think. I'd say most wouldn't train differently, but I think he may have been trained as in got used to running over 3 mile. They actually finally switched him off last time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A little bit like Lossiemouth in the Christmas hurdle. I think she got caught out and caught on the back foot by going a quick early gallop. Could potentially happen to Factifile here.
Agreed.
I know you've said that, but that's not why for me. I just feel like he's gone to the well the last couple of times, and they bottomed him against Galop and Deschamps, and I think he's probably just about a 3 miler. But yeah, my choice anyway is Protectorat. He obviously won the race last year. He's a 10-year-old now, but I don't think he's an ordinary 10-year-old. He seems hard as nails, and he seems like to have a real zest for the job, and I think they have a job to pull him up at the end of the gallop every day. I think he's sort of wired to just gallop, really. And
Definitely loves what he does, that's what they say.
Yeah, so I think his sort of enthusiasm for the job hasn't been blunted at this age, and I think he's rock solid in what is often an open race, really, and so he'd be my choice.
Okay. Come along, Ferg. You've got the mic in your hand. Let's hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, Le Francais, I think will go here, and I think he will set a blistering gallop. And I mean, his only negative, I suppose, is that he probably hasn't raced anywhere like Cheltenham before. But I think if he takes the Cheltenham, I don't think they'll see which way he went.
Really, you think he could just bowl out and that'd be that?
Yeah, I think they'll just let him rock on, and yeah, if he takes the undulations of Cheltenham. I mean, he was very unlucky in the King George. I think Paul Townend was probably the ride of the season to beat him.
Not Sean Bowen the other day at Newbury.
No, he was lucky that one. No, he was brilliant. No, Sean was brilliant. But I think this lad. I think back in his trip, I think he'll take a lot of beating.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, he was breathtaking in the King George, wasn't he? It was wonderful to watch, and we all love watching racing. That's what we're doing here. And he jumped and he galloped and he was exuberant, and that's just what we like watching. And I think the drop back to 2.5 miles will suit him well. This race does suit front runners.
Okay.
I don't know why it is, but it does suit front runners. I think it'll be a proper pacey race. Protectorat obviously likes to go forward as well. It wouldn't surprise me if the 11-year-old at Envoy LN, he was the superstar years ago, and he still runs his race. He was second in this race last year. What price is he? 16 to 1 here. Envoy LN to run into a place here, perhaps. But yeah, I agree. Le Francais could be the star of the race, but he has bled before.
Okay, one to mine. Tom.
I think Connections would be very disappointed if Factifile turned up here and actually got beat, to be honest. He looks an absolute superstar last season, I thought, and they had high aspirations for this year's Gold Cup. Look, whilst Galop and Deschamps is around, he will not be beating him. I think he needs to revert back to the Ryanair, get your win. He'll have his day in the Gold Cup, I've got no doubt about that. But going back to like the days of Quarter Star, there's a horse called Exotic Dancer, and he was always in his shadow. I think there's a similar sort of thing going on here with sort of Galop and Deschamps and Factifile. Just take yourself out of the situation, go and win your race, and then go and win your Gold Cup another year.
Okay. Has everybody spoken on that, James?
I won't bore you too much, but Le Francais he's a Kempton specialist. He won't handle Cheltenham. He had a problem in Orte. Didn't he blow up after in Orte?
Yeah.
He's in and out. He won't have Cheltenham at all, and if he wins, I'm going to have a bad day on the Thursday.
Right, okay. I think Gaelic Warrior will switch here, and I think is going to be very interesting. I heard about a week or so ago that they're looking at this now, especially with the drying ground. Gaelic Warrior needs a trip or to run on 2 miles on completely bottomless ground. Last year's Arkle was run on pretty bad ground, and they went quick and it played into his hands. I think Gaelic Warrior could pick up some pieces from the likes
on the better ground. Will he not jump right?
I don't know. I think he sorted that jumping right out a little bit. I don't think he looked the best jumper in the world, but he's definitely got a big engine. I just think that in a race that looks really open, I think Gaelic Warrior could end up running really well. So I'll stick Gaelic Warrior forward. You'll be pleased to know dinner will be just a little over 10 minutes away. This is the last race we're going to talk about, and that is the Stayers Hurdle.
Alan just agreed with you, Gaelic Warrior.
Did he? Again.
I fancy them all. I love them all. Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? The Stayers Hurdle, guys. Tiupu is a hot favourite here. I think he's worth taking on. I think there's some good horses in this race. I know Tom's looking at me with that eye as if to say, "Are you mad?" But I do think he's worth taking on. And I before I go and ask you things, I really like Lucky Place for Nicky Henderson. I think he's going to stay. The further he goes, he's going to look a good stayer, and I think he's got the right profile. He's run at the track, ran 4th last year at the festival. Has beaten what he's had to beat over 2.5 miles so far this season. Just staying really strong to the line. I think he could win, but I do respect the idea that I do respect the idea that that Tiupu is obviously a really good horse. Ferg, have you got the mic? What do you think?
Yeah, I think Tiupu will take a bit of beating. I think Home by the Lead, they've got a good handle on him now. It'll be interesting to see if JJ's back on him or not. And
I think JJ Slevin rides that.
Yeah, and I think Danny Mullins is just as good. Wouldn't matter who was riding him. But I'm hoping Crambo will turn up. You know, he was very unlucky the last day. He made a very bad mistake at the top of the hill. Last year, it just never really happened for him there for whatever reason. Still beating 10 or 12 lengths. But yeah, he's in great form at home. He's fresh and well. He's healthy, and I'd be disappointed if he was out of the first 4, Crambo. I think he'll be in the mix. I think he'll love the ground and love the sun. He's back, and I'm hoping he'll run a big race.
Okay, good. Jamie?
Yeah, I agree with Fergal actually. I think Crambo, Grade 1 winner at Ascot, I thought he was really impressive that day. Massively overpriced at 33 to 1 I've got here, which is a massive price. We might, we've got Garlow entered in the Ultimate, we've thrown him in here as well. A bit of a left field approach, still to be decided which way we go, but I know some of the owners are quite keen to have a crack at this. He won the Paddy Power a couple of years ago. He looks like the step up in trip's going to suit him. Yeah, I think he's 33 to 1 as well. So if we do go here, let's go for the 1-2 further. We'll settle.
Some forecast that. Tom?
Yeah, it's very simple again for me actually. I think Tiupu's a good thing here. Yeah, his reappearance in the Hatton's Grace was perfectly respectable. I thought behind Lossiemouth over an inadequate trip of 2.5 miles. He's the best there around by a mile. Don't have to see him many times. He's only ran once this season. Look, Gordon's going to have him in perfect shape for this. I think it's a very weak race in all fairness. It's not much similar to last year in all fairness. Like, can you see anything in the race to beat him? Because I can't.
Well, like I said, I'm trying to find a bit of value. You know, for me, if you're asking me, like I said, I think Lucky Place is an improver. But are you not worried he's only had that one run this year and he got beaten in it, and that might not necessarily be the ideal prep? Alan, what do you think?
I'm against Tiupu, but I wouldn't be worried about the fact he's only had one run this year, and I thought it was a solid run in a slowly run race behind Lossiemouth. I think he runs well. They say he runs well fresh, doesn't he? So
yeah,
so that wouldn't put me off him, but I'm looking to take him on. I think it's probably the weakest division of the championship races.
Yeah,
invariably the Stayers division. But I like Lucky Place. I think he's a progressive horse. He's actually on Racing Post ratings. He's every career start he's improved on his last start consecutively. And Racing Post Racing's obviously a approximation to handicap what they're thinking, and I think he's set to improve again. He's still a young, unexposed horse. He's yet to try 3 mile, but everything in his manner and the way he goes through a race suggests he'll stay well. So I'm just looking to take on the favourite and look for a bit of value. And I think he could win the race.
Okay, James.
He's good, isn't he, Tiupu? But he's not bomb-proof. Just looking on the site, we've put Tiupu and Galopin de Champs as a double at 11 to 4. I think Galopin de Champs going to win. So if you want to back Tiupu, you can bet him. You know, have the double on the site at 11 to 4. But
okay.
Like I say, he's not bomb-proof. He might win. The softer ground would suit him better, but he'll be thereabouts. But I'm still happy to take him on.
Okay. And so it's definitely looking like the division, like Alan said, it's the weaker division of the whole of lot of them. Right, as I said, we've come to sort of towards the end of the first part. Sadly, through other commitments, Fergal's having to leave shortly. But Ferg, before you go, could I just get you to take the mic?
That's my daughter, the driver.
Can you just, before we do let you move on and leave, is tell us what horses you're most. Tell us all about your horses that are going to run this week or next week as it is, and what your sort of, I suppose your banker of the week, if you're going to put one forward, would be.
6 Mile Bridge obviously is our most obvious one. He's the one I'm looking forward to. Like I said earlier, Caelan, I think, even though his bumper form hasn't really worked out, that's not his fault. But yeah, looking forward to running him. An interesting one actually could be Man of the People in the Kim Muir. Gene Andrews will ride. I think Gene will get on great with him. He's back on the old course. He loves the ground. He'll be 33-1. He was Paddy Brennan's last winner at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to him. But I'm just looking forward to. I'm like everyone else here. I'm a racehorse trainer, but I'm also a racing fan.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the 4 days. Wish it was still 3 days, but it is what it is. We'll never go back to those good days. But I'm just looking forward to great racing and a bit of sunshine, and hopefully everyone comes away with a few quid, even James. I hope his children don't go too hungry, and I hope everyone just enjoys themselves. Yeah.
And push you on, like I know you give Man of the People, which is a massive prize, but if you had to sort of say which horse you're most looking forward to watching next week, and probably what would that be?
That'll be the Champion Hurl, Constitution Hill. I think that's going to be a great race, and I'm a bit like the lads. I will be watching nervous because I want him to win so much.
Yeah.
But that'll be the race I'm really looking forward to watching.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you very much, Fergs. Obviously, appreciate you coming this evening. The first race on Gold Cup Day is the Triumph Hurdle, often won by a really classy individual with a high cruising speed, very fast type of horse in this race. Winners you can think of include the likes of Vauban and Lossiemouth in recent times, absolute class above type horses. And this year there does look to be a few others of that ilk. My bet of the week comes in here, so if you're interested in that, I'll go on and tell you what it is shortly. But Jamie, if you could start us off and tell us what you like in the Triumph Hurdle.
Yeah, this is a mightily good race, I think. Lalumba obviously comes with a huge reputation. By Nirvana's Burley, I've got a sneaking suspicion they want slightly softer ground. Actually, he was very good at Ascot, but the horse he beat at Ascot was beaten at Kempton the other day quite easily. So I think I can pick holes in Lalumba, and bearing in mind I think he probably wants slightly softer ground, I can pick holes in him as well. Palladium, another one of Nicky's horses that cost
1.25 million was it or something? Just a small change.
Yeah, small change there. 1.25 is still an entire. He's a colt, so it would be quite nice to see him winning. Thinking that he might become a stallion one day, but Hello Neighbour of Gavin Cromwell's comes with a huge reputation. But I can't get away from East India Doc. I really can't. He was mightily impressive over hurdles at Cheltenham. Sorry, very quick hurdler. He was from A to B in a flash over his hurdles, and although like Lalumba I should imagine is going to be a chaser one day, jumped like a bit of a future chaser. East India Doc barely took off when he went from A to B. Reminded me of Epitante and Punjabi and other champion hurdle horses like that. I thought he looked very good, and I think he's going to have too much class for these. He's got the battle hardened off the flat. He was rated 90 odd on the flat, and I think he looks the certainty to me here. East India Doc.
Tom.
Yeah, well, Lalumba coming from France with a huge reputation, and yeah, got the job done at Ascot. The form's been let down since, in a bad way I feel. Mondo Man went on to run at Kempton and got put in his place, didn't he? Look, East India Doc was a really good horse on the flat. He achieved a official rating of 89. James Owen does really well with these types of horses on both codes, on the flat and over hurdle. He's having a great season. Yeah, this one's 3 from 3 now, twice at Cheltenham. There's so much to like about him. He's got more experience than Lalumba. He goes there in top-notch form, and it's hard to get away from, isn't it? And Andrew's been very confident about him over the last few weeks and sort of made a decision for me. So it's on you.
It's on me, this one.
Yes, it's a fascinating race. It's almost 3 2-to-1 bets roughly here. You've got the little terrier with the form in the book of East India Dock, the classy talking horse Lulamba, and then 2-to-1 the field from there. I'm incredibly, Jamie, you'll be glad to hear that I'm not going first on this occasion, and I'm going to come up with an original pick here. I'm going to go with Lulamba. I know it's not frightfully original, but in the context of this room at this moment it is. So I was just, I know Mondo Man was sort of beaten the last day at Kempton, the form line behind Lulamba at Ascot when he ran, but you know, he was beaten a similar distance. Lulamba gave him 10 lengths that day, and similar to the way I said that Ballyburn was impressive from the last of the line in that 2.5 mile chase at Leopardstown, I thought Lulamba was really impressive when asked to get on with it from 50 yards after the last year. He looked to be woken up from a slumber almost. He was just cruising through the race. He looked like a horse that not much would bother him really. So he's my pick. I could just see knowing the trainer, and you know, you could easily see Lulamba being the next Eugenio, East India Dock winning the Great Wood Hurdle next, you know, autumn, but being a good handicapper. That's the route I've gone anyway. So Lulamba for me. Yes, Jamie.
Can I just mention a one bigger price?
Yes, you can.
Gibbs Island. I thought he was very good at Haydock in the Victor Ludorum. The ground was good that day. It really dried up, and Haydock is a very sharp track, and the official going, I think the jockeys were describing it as good to sand. They put so much sand on the track. It was standard, but he was pretty good, I thought, that day. And at 20-to-1, a little bit of an each way chance. Gibbs Island.
Okay, James, how does the market look?
The market, well, it's, at the moment they're near enough 2-to-1 joint favourites on the East India Dock and Lulamba. There is no doubt in my mind that East India Dock is going to start the favourite out of these two. So if you're going to back that, back it now. If you're going to back Lulamba, wait for the day unless it rains. East India Dock's definitely going to start favourite.
Okay. As I said, my bet of the week's here. East India Dock. What's not to like? You've got a little terrier who's already got form around the track. He jumps great. James Owen is a brilliant trainer on the up, absolutely. He was good on the flat, this horse. Quite frankly, there's no crosses in the boxes, ticks everywhere. And I also make Lulamba my lay of the week. I'd actually place lay Lulamba. I think there's a very good chance he's all a chaser. I think he's not quick enough, and I don't think he'll win. I don't think he'll place, let alone win, sorry. So, East India Dock, my bet of the week. Right. This is an exciting race to talk about. The Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle. Over 3 miles, a real test. And over the years, often, I mean, you could go back last year to the two horses that were running up the hill together, the Jukebox Man and Stella Story, catching him on the line, which I know would have hurt lots of people in here. But this year, our trainer panellist, Jamie Snowden, has a very lively chance. And I know we've got someone in the room who's got a share in the horse, so he's very excited. And Wendigo's a horse you've loved from the get-go, isn't he, Jamie?
Yes, we bought him having won a point-to-point. First time out in a point-to-point, he actually ran out after the last, and the winner of that fetched a decent sum. We bought him at Doncaster Sales, and he won 2 bumpers last year. Everyone was quite keen for him to go to a better bumper. We decided that patience was the way forward, and we turned him out in the field, brought him back this season, and he's won 2 novice hurdles, and he was second in the Challow behind Dan Skelton's horse, the New Lion. All he did that day was stay on all the way to the line really strongly. He's bred for a trip. The step up to 3 miles looks sure to suit, and yeah, he's the shortest price of the English runners here. The Irish obviously all come with all guns blazing with a few of them, but I think some of them might turn up in the Turners. So I'm rather hoping that Wendigo can put his best foot forward. He's a classy horse. He follows a similar path into the race as the Jukebox Man last year, and the Jukebox Man obviously he's done pretty well this season. He was second last season in this race, but he went into the Challow off 127. We went into the Challow off 127. He finished second, we finished second. He came here and he got beaten at short head. We come here and hopefully we'll be a short head better off than the G-Box man. But very similar profile. He's ridden by Stefan every day. Stefan used to ride Many Clouds every day at Oliver Sherwood's, and Stefan says he's a classier horse than Many Clouds, and fingers crossed he can really develop into a high class chaser next year, and hopefully he goes well here.
We wish you the best of luck with him. Tom, you quite like Wendigo. You think it could go well, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Wendigo, to be fair. He's a strong stayer in the shallow, wasn't he? He's closing all the way to the line behind the new line. That form stacks up really well. Obviously, we'll get a good feel of it after the turners, see what happens there. Look, Foreign Demand's been really strongly supported here. I thought all along he was going to go for the turners, but the money's come for him. It kind of is a complexion of the race for me a little bit, but I've been all over Ballybow for a long time. He's a 12-to-1 shot at the moment. There's been good money around for him. He only won his bumper in October. Made a real slow start over hurdles, but there's been real good progression since. He was beaten by a horse called Ballygunner Castle, but then he's since met him again and reversed the terms. I think that showed his progression. He's a strong stayer, untapped potential over 3 miles. I think he's definitely been the shake-up here, and Gordon Elliott knows what it takes to win this race after winning it last year with Stellar Story. So he's been very complimentary about him as well, so he's the one for me.
Alan?
Well, I'm sure James will tell us in a minute. This is a bookies race, is it, James? And it tends to, you see a lot of sort of 20 and 25-to-1 shots win this race, and a lot of the time it's an older horse with a bit more experience. They're mostly 6-year-olds in the field, but the horse I've gone for at 20-to-1 is Intense Approach. He's a second season hurdler. I think he's had 9 starts over hurdles now. I don't know, my doubt with him is if he's quite got the class.
Definitely likes good ground as well.
Yeah, he won up at Musselburgh on New Year's Day, I think, didn't he?
And at Kelso at the start of the season. We were there that day, weren't we, Tom?
Yeah. So it looks like a strong travelling horse and will at least take you a long way into the race. I do have a little doubt about whether he's got the class to be competitive in a race as tough as this, but with those factors in mind about it, sort of throwing up a slightly bigger price winner and suiting a horse with experience, I'm going to side with him.
And he's said it right, hasn't he? This is definitely a race that funds the children's salmon and
all sorts
a bit on the side
as well. Could feed her kids at the same time. So there hasn't been a favourite won this race for 11 years. We've had a 50-to-1 winner in Manila Indo. We've had a 33-to-1 winner last year in Stellar Story. This is a proper bookmakers race. But this horse is about profile, and I think Wendigo's got it. It's a horse that kind of finds off the bit, and those kind of tough finding horses. It's not a classy race. You've got to have a horse with a bit of grit, and Wendigo definitely suits profile, so I'll be tuning him on for you, Jamie.
Okay, I think Jet Blue, the French horse, has got a bit of a squeak in here. I was really impressed with the way that Jet Blue powered to the line at Cheltenham last time on good to soft ground, so hopefully the ground sort of will be something like that. Absolutely took off coming up the hill, and really done it nicely that day. And I think it's a horse that's got a bit of scope and could definitely go on to better things. And yeah, I think Jet Blue is a lively each way chance as well. Okay, right. So some people might have one bet next week, and it might be in the Gold Cup. Sadly, for those that like to get stuck in once a year, there is a very, very short odds-on shot in the race itself. But I think it's important we celebrate just how good this horse is and talk about it from that perspective before we probably try and find maybe some each-way value for you. But Galopin de Champs is an absolute superstar, and if you love racing, you'll love Galopin de Champs. He for me is the closest thing we've had since Quarter Star, in my opinion, and I think that he's going to make it 3 out of 3 Gold Cups. Does anybody on that panel have a different view on that?
Hope he doesn't. The guy had 26 grand with us, bet with us yesterday, 8-13. So, but
ouch.
Yeah, I think we're going to pay on him. He's just the best horse, isn't it? Barring accidents, he is we're just lucky to watch him race. I know everyone loves Constitution Hill, but this is a real special horse that people are only just realising how good he is, and he'll win again this year.
Yeah, I think so. And Jamie, from Galopin de Champs must be like, from a trainer's perspective, watching what Willie has there, not envious of him, but just I suppose a little bit of awe of being able to get that horse back time and time again, to come back and win those great ones at Leopardstown. He's as good at Cheltenham as he is at Leopardstown, from everything we've seen. Take away that dodgy fall that he had in the RSA. He's just incredible, isn't he?
He is, and I think what Willie does is he gives horses the time, he's got the patience for them. He also starts the horse off over 2.5 miles at the start of the season. He's not afraid to be beaten. He's not afraid to be beaten. He likes to see a horse mature, develop, strengthen, progress. He's got one plan, and that's to win the Gold Cup. And it doesn't matter being beaten, it really doesn't matter to him. And this horse will win 3 Gold Cups. And if he stays sound, he's got every chance of winning 4 Gold Cups. And unfortunately, because he is as good as he is, horses are running away from him.
Yeah.
You know, Factophile would be in the Gold Cup, but is going to run in the Ryanair. Dan Skelton's horse, Grey Dawning, would be in the Gold Cup, but went up to Kelso the other day. Unfortunately, horses will run away from him because he is as good as that. And, you know, as we were saying earlier, it's nice when great horses and champions take on each other, and it makes the better horses even better, which I totally agree with. But in this instance, he is just head and shoulders above everyone else, and people will run away from him.
Okay. And Tom, tell us a little bit about how you expect the race to pan out in the Gold Cup.
Well, just firstly, like Galloping the Champs, Willie's not afraid of him getting beat, as Jamie said. Like, he started off the season the John Durkin, where I actually thought he ran a fantastic race, an inadequate trip of 2.5 miles. He's often beaten around Punchdown. He doesn't show his best form there. You know, put him back into his actual, you know, best circumstances. He's been absolutely fantastic this season, winning in Leopardstown twice. He's going to win the Gold Cup for the 3rd time, but no doubt about it. You know, Henrietta Knight used to do it with Best Mate, didn't she? He'd start in a Holden Gold Cup. The target all along is the Gold Cup. So this horse is by far the best in the race, and I just can't see him getting beat.
Okay. Alan, I'll come to you. From a rider's point of view, if you could ride Galloping the Champs in the Gold Cup, how would you ride him?
I'd be shitting myself, to be honest, to be riding a 2-to-1 on shot, drafted in on the day. But I think what Paul Townend has got these days with this horse is the freedom to do whatever he wants on him. And
he's
ride
relaxed,
him.
isn't he?
Yeah, he's relaxed. He's matured with his jumping. He's actually rode him for speed the last couple of times, and I think by doing that, you're almost prolonging his career. I wonder if on Gold Cup day, will he have a little nagging in the back of his mind that he doesn't want to make it in? He wants to make it into more of a stamina test, because his only conceivable danger who could get within a stone of him is Banbridge. You know, will he ride him any differently? Will he make it more of a test? Because the last couple of times he's sort of floated away in front and, you know, cruised round for 1.5 miles and then wound it up and got racing late on. I wonder, but yeah, he's pretty special, isn't he? I think.
If we're talking, there are each way punters out there is still, from that perspective, there's going to be some value out there, because, you know, he's going to win. There has to be a second and third if there's that many runners. Has any of you got a suspicion of what might chase him home?
The Real Whacker at 50-1.
Okay.
He won the RSA several years ago. He likes good ground, won the Charlie Hall. He's definitely the each way value here at 50-1. You can pick holes in everything behind him, but there probably won't be many runners. And 50-1 for a horse that likes good ground and won the Charlie Hall and the RSA. I think the Real Whack is the one for the place bet.
Okay. Anyone else got anything? Tom, you're not interested in the place market, are you?
I can't add anything towards it, to be honest. Gallop Champ wins. I'm not interested in second or third, to be honest. Like last year, I put a Court Rambler each way. Fergal O'Brien has just laughed at me. He actually finished third in that race, so I didn't have a chance to catch up with Fergal, actually. But yeah, this year I haven't even looked further down the field. It's very simple for me. So.
Okay, right. Gold Cup, Galloping the Champs wins, and I think Jamie's given you a nice one, big price, maybe an anti-post. There's only what, 6-7 runners? Is that possible? Is that possible in the Gold Cup? James, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. We scared them all off, didn't we? So,
yeah. If there's 6-7 runners, if you do anti-post 50-1, you're going to get 3 places paid. And you've got half a chance of picking up a few quid. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so we're going to move on to talk about the handicaps now, gents. we'll begin going back to the Tuesday, if that's okay. We'll go to the Ultima. And in a race which on the Tuesday we have a chance of winning it as the Team GB, let's say. Tom, what do you like in the Ultima?
I quite like Broadway Boy. He's a course regular at Cheltenham. He's got really good form around there. He's actually won 3 races. I felt like he needed his run the appearance actually, where he was trying to give a lot of weight away. Just got tired, but he ran a really good race in the Coral Gold Cup, finishing second to the Can Do Kid. Victorino's back in third that day. He's since been unbeaten round Ascot. So there's a good bit of substance towards that form. Look, he ran a terrible race at Cheltenham in his last run, but he had his excuses, like he jumped poorly, and I think he's a lot better than that. He's had a lot of time to overcome it. There's been a lot of money around for him, suggesting Twiston Davis' team feel he's in good order, and yeah, like I said, he's got really good form around Cheltenham, so there's lots to like, and he's only got 1 entry, which makes it simple, and unlike most of these handicappers which have multiple, so
Exactly. Jamie, have you got anything lined up for this race?
We've got Garlaw entered. We've got him entered here, the Ryanair and the stairs. We'll take him out of the Ryanair, and we'll just decide whether he comes here or goes to the stairs hurdle. But a horse I think that will win this is Kitati Dory of Sam Thomas's.
Okay. Mightily impressive at
very
Kempton.
impressive at Kempton, running to a Racing Post rating of 145. He's got an official rating of 137 here. I think he's probably £7 well in.
Okay, James.
I've just hold off on Catastrophe. We did a preview night. He was at our preview night last week, Sam, and he didn't mention him running, did he? You did? No, I was drunk at that point.
Go on, Alan. Tell us more.
He's somebody mentioned that he'd need 5 runs to run in this race.
Okay.
To Sam, and you actually need 4 runs, which is what the horse has.
Yeah.
So he had 3 minutes of panic while he scrambled through his phone to try and confirm that the horse was indeed qualified. I think he has a great chance as well. I know it's a race that British trained horse tends to win, and it normally comes from the first 5 or 6 in the betting. And they're price-wise, they're much of a muchness, those first 5 or 6. But I like him as well.
Okay. Good stuff, James.
Just to say, the money horse on the site, especially today, was Henry's friend, Ben Paulins. Lots and lots of money for that.
Really?
All of a sudden, just out of nowhere. So that's obviously well fancied.
What he did highlight to us when we went out to him, but I think he was unsure at the time where his target might be, so that probably just indicates where he's more likely to run. So Henry's friend probably a likely runner in the Ultima. Okay, so kick on. Fred Winter. I'm still calling it that, even though they've tried to rename it God knows how many times. I was hoping to have a quick word with Fergal, because he's got one in him, Mr. Senza, who I think he thinks a bit off. Jamie, is Marsh Deligra, is that going to run here if it gets in?
Yeah, so Masha Dalagray. Listen.
Oh God,
God knows how you say it, but I got an N in
your
French.
French is better than mine.
Oh well, my N at AS level didn't quite say that, but I call him Masha Dalagray. He won first time out, and he was second in the Grade 2 down at Chepstow finale. Slightly disappointed behind that horse of Tom Lacey's that I put up in the Triumph, when only 4th in the Victor Ludoran. But we had to run him that day in order to qualify for the handicaps. He needed 3 runs, so he needed that run in order to come here. The ground was only good to sand, as I said, and he does like softer ground. So I'm rather hoping John Poulin puts plenty of water on the track, which he's talking about doing. And if he does, then we might take our chance here. But he's well handicapped on the right sort of conditions, and he was second, as I say, a very good second in the Grade 2, and that's usually a good race. So I think he is a good horse. He's well handicapped, providing there is cut in the ground.
Yeah, I think I've read watering after Friday if they don't get the required rain, which looks pretty likely at this stage, doesn't it? Tom, it's a difficult sort of conundrum, this race. Well, where are you going with it?
Yeah, I like Total Look for Gavin Cromwell. He's a useful horse on the flat. He achieved an official rating of 87. He quickly got off the mark over hurdles. The second and third horse home that day went on to win. So there's good substance to that form. He then went on to run at Cheltenham. where he was third, only beaten in a close finish behind the two Bowen brothers, where they dead heated that day. They had a bit more experience than him, so I thought it kind of played in their favour that day. I thought he was a big eye catcher at Punchdown after, where he's trying to give lumps of weight away in a handicap, where he was ridden kind of cold, and I didn't think they seemed too bothered that day. I think they had bigger sights in mind. He stayed on so strongly towards the finish, and I think he's well handicapped here, and I think he's got a right chance, to be honest.
Okay, and Alan? Tough one to solve, isn't it?
Yes, beyond my knowledge really. I wouldn't have a strong opinion here. I'd just say a trainer like Joseph O'Brien tends to do well in this race, so put your hands together. JP horse at a bit of a price, but no strong opinion, to be honest.
Okay. And James, another race that you'll be looking for, maybe something from the bottom end of the market coming in to help you out on the Tuesday.
Yeah, just to be frank, the handicaps are where bookmakers make their money at Cheltenham. It's not the championship races, it's the handicaps. I won't be particularly having an opinion, but I'll be just happy to take whatever comes.
Okay. For what it's worth, obviously I've mentioned how high regard I think I hold East India Dock in, and I thought that Stencil ran a reasonable British debut last time out at Cheltenham. I don't think they were overly hard on that horse at all. From all accounts, his mark is pretty lenient based on what they think of it, and I just thought Stencil could well run a hell of a race. I know he's been back to do so, but that's what we're all about. So, okay, we'll talk about the National Novices Handicap Chase. The last race on day 1, which is the Tuesday. Tom, we were sat together earlier on, and you started talking about a horse. I wondered if that one was the one that you were going to follow through with.
Yeah, I like Haiti Colours here for Rebecca Curtis. Was a useful hurdler, always looked like make a better chaser, and definitely proven that since. Lovely chasing debut around Chepstow, where he finished second. Looked all over the winner until making a slight mistake at the last, and possibly needing a run, and he's come on leaps and bounces that since. He won a nice race at Cheltenham, beating a horse called Transmission. They're likely to oppose again. I don't think there's too much between them in the market, but he's already beaten him. He jumps really well, he's a strong stayer. He's definitely got all the attributes you need for a race of this nature. And a quick spin over the hurdle since, finishing third. I think they've been protecting that chase mark. This has been the plan all along, and he's the one for me. So.
Okay, James,
I'd agree. I was talking to Rebecca at Fosslas.
Okay.
She's really keen on this horse. I'm really keen on it. If I'm going to have one decent bet all festival, it's on Haiti Color. The Newbury run last time was really impressive. The hurdle run, great prep race, staying on at the end. This is my bet at the festival.
Your bet at the festival. Love that. Okay, Alan. Are you going Team Wales as well, or are we going to?
No, I picked a pipe horse here, the Jericho Rock, 16-1. He's a 9-year-old novice chaser, but he was off for a long time, 2 years I think, and he actually returned in January at Windsor and ran a solid race. I thought it would have been pleasing. He's got 2 months from there to get over that run and come back. He's actually well handicapped on old form. He was third in the Coral Gull Cup, the old Hennessy, which was good form, off £8 higher. I just feel like if he come back to his old self, he's shown a bit of spark last time on his reappearance. I just thought he was a bit of value.
What price is that one at the minute?
16.
There we go. That's a nice one. Love that. Jamie.
No strong opinion really, but JP obviously does very well in the handicaps at the festival, and a work in progress is one of those horses that he got nicely. The handbrake was let off a very lowly mark, and he's progressed and keeps progressing, and a work in progress off 1-2-1. He knows how to win.
Okay, and I wouldn't say I have a strong opinion in this, but I do want to point out that what they've been doing with Transmission this season has been quite interesting. I think he ran in a graded. What was it? The Cleve? Did it run in the Cleve Hurdle, Transmission, over 3 miles back of the hurdles? He's obviously got plenty of pace, but when Patrick rode him to win the handicap at Cheltenham earlier on in the season, which was on Paddy Power Gold Cup Day, he rode him as if he was a staying chaser, which for me is a little bit of an interesting sort of angle around what race they might end up in. So I think if this horse does end up here, over 4 miles, there might be a fair bit of improvement still to come. I'm not sure who will ride the horse, because I'm sure William might want something in there, so Patrick probably won't ride it, but that might be an interesting angle transmission for me.
I think what was Mulholland's? He won. Did he win this race or another festival race with another horse, and they campaigned it the same? I think. What was? Do you remember his festival winners? Mulholland. Anyway, it's probably the same.
Off the top of my
I think
head.
it might have even run in the Cleve Hurdle before winning a handicap chase.
Okay.
Might have been, or maybe even this race. So
I think I know what horse you're on about. In the green colours, is it? Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Okay, so transmission for me, and obviously the guys have given their selections there. Okay, Coral Cut. Dan Skelton will tell everybody that'll listen that Be Aware is still pretty much ahead of a handicapper. Always find that a bit of an intriguing thing. Jamie, you can tell me a little bit more about it if you're a trainer, being that public that you think your horse has got pounds in hand, given that if it goes and does what you expect it to do, the handicapper might take a view on that. But he really likes Be Aware. Do you have a runner in the race? Are you likely to?
No, we haven't got an entry in it this year, but very interesting. I think Carrie Fry is a trainer I admire a lot. He hasn't had a huge amount of luck this season, but Outer Belly is a very, very nice horse. He's won his last 2 starts. He comes in here off a mark of 147, and I think he's probably still unexposed. Maxios tends to like better ground, so 12 to 1 about Outer Belly is probably my take out of this race.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting when Dan Skelton was asked to put one of his horses forward for the festival for the punters, and he said Be Aware each way for the Coral Cut. You know, he's got some really good chances this meeting, including the new Lion, so that speaks volumes for me. This one was second, a really fast finish, the second at that, behind Burnett Road in the Great Wood. That brings seriously strong handicap form to the table. His only try over 2 mile 5, he finished a good second by the horse of Fergal's called Kamsanas, which doesn't read too badly. Yeah, he's got untapped potential, that's for sure. The way he stayed on in that Great Wood suggests he definitely wants this trip. He's only lightly raced, and there's lots more to come. I think he's a right each way chance, although there has been plenty of money around, so that might have gone.
Okay. And James, you're sort of fresh while Alan's having another scroll through to get his...
Yeah, there's just a race a horse I'm really careful of in this race. It's called Beau Zenith. Nicky Henderson's horse.
Those colours you told us about.
Those colours, so they've, for multiple reasons, probably affordability checks and the rest, there's been a lot of big gamblers kind of reappear in the racetracks, in the betting rings. Of all the big gamblers, the guys involved in this horse are the biggest by far. They are putting on, when they turn up at the race course, every bookmaker ducks around their board because they are frightening everyone with the amount of money they come on. This horse is 25 to 1. It was second at Cheltenham with I think the Racing Post form says interesting ride.
Yeah.
Something like eye-catching perhaps.
Yep.
It's gone from Gary Morse to Nicky Henderson. These guys would be the kind of guys who would want to have a touch on, and I wouldn't be surprised if there is huge amounts for this horse in the betting ring on the day.
So if we see the price collapse on Beau Zenith, it will be more than interesting, is what you're saying.
And if it starts to go, it'll really go. You know, if it goes from 25 to 20, it'll end up at 10.
Okay, that's a really interesting angle from a bookmaker, I suppose, to learn a bit about what might happen. Alan, had a good look. What you saying?
Yeah, I know that crew. They used to have a few with Tim Vaughan, and it's like watching some of the cast from a Guy Ritchie movie walk in.
Right.
Yeah,
I featured in that, the latest one.
We did see.
Yeah, not you, yeah.
No, I did a bit of filming at Sandown the other day with Benedict Cumberbatch and Rosamund Pike and
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, it's quite fun.
Anyway,
something different.
we digress. I like the Skelton horse. Be Aware. I think he still hasn't reached his ceiling. I think Skelton has done a wonderful job the last couple of years of prepping his horses for these competitive handicaps, and I think he'll definitely be on the scene.
Okay. I put forward the start of the season. I put my handicapper to follow for the season. The horse was in Potois. I'm a bit disappointed to see that it's only run once since, albeit that was a win. I don't think he's badly treated off 141 at all. Again, talking of gambling colours, I suppose if you're going to see a lot of money come for those JP McManus colours, that would be very much of interest in Potoir. And on the other one, looking through, I know Willie don't think he has a great record in the Coral Cup, but the horse I'm interested in, whether he goes here or not, I'm not so sure, is Jimmy DeSoy. Finished, I think it was second behind Ballyburn in the Turners last year. He's obviously a horse with a lot of ability. I'm not sure the ground's going to be exactly what he might want, given that was a big run. But Jimmy DeSoy is an interesting horse in the future, potentially as a chaser more than a hurdler. But who knows? There might be some sort of opportunity to take them up. But if I was to be pushed, I really think Impotoir could be well backed on the day. Talking about gambling, and I do think that could be one to follow. Okay, so the cross country, a race not for everybody. I know it is. It does divide opinion in some ways. I think personally it's a good addition. It gives an opportunity for older horses to sort of rekindle their love for the game, and you see it time and time again. The favourite is Stumptown, and he's probably one of the better handicap favourites of the week, I would say. But I think Gavin Cromwell's other horse, Vanillier, might be the one to side with in the race. But I want to know what you guys think. Alan, have you had a look through yet?
A couple of things about this race. It's obviously changed to a handicap now, but I heard a stat or something the other day that essentially all the previous winners probably would have still won if it was run as a handicap. It suits a classy horse.
A class horse, yeah.
And I think the tight turning nature of the track, it means that classy horses the weight doesn't count against them as much, and they can speed away at the end a bit. Stumptown, I think he was going to Cheltenham last time out for a little nosy round, I think, and I don't think they thought he was tuned up for the day, and
yet he won on the steel,
on the proverbial. So I think he could still be well handicapped, and it's quite a simple one there for me. It's good enough for me, that is.
Okay, Stumptown. Tom, give us. Is it original? Or
yeah, Stumptown's been a really good horse over the years, hasn't he? He has a great record at Cheltenham. He was just touched off at the Kimmuir the 1 year. He's made a great transition to this discipline, actually. He won at Punchtown last season. Only 2 days before, he got humped by a loose horse and then unshipped his rider, but he duly obliged 2 days later. Came out this season, put up a good performance at Punchtown. His first try at Cheltenham over these fences results in a very easy win, I thought. He's very hard to get away from, and for that man again, Gavin Cromwell. So I hope he's going to have a good week.
Sounds like you need to back him for champion trainer of the week, to be honest, mate.
It's already over.
Jamie, is it a race you like? Is it one you would happily have a runner in?
Yeah, we had a winner over these fences a few years ago, not at the festival, with a horse called Fact of the Matter, who ran in plenty of these and took him across the continent and ran him over there, and he was fourth in the Belgian Grand Nationals, second at Auteuil, and a legend of horse. And he won one of these. He won the November, was it? No, I think he won the December fixture, which was a handicap. He was never quite good enough to run off level weights in this race. Although he ran, he was fourth, fifth, sixth, but he never won it because it wasn't a handicap. But now it's a handicap. I think it's probably good for racing that it is a handicap. And I think I quite like a horse called ICO Madric in this.
Yeah, okay.
It's a French horse, and the French don't really rate their handicap, the cross-country in handicap form. And so I think he's been doing a lot of winning over the cross-country tracks out there, and I think he might be quite nicely handicapped. He's slightly out of the weights, but ICO Madric at 12 to 1 I think might be the bet here.
Okay, and James, a favourite you're weary of through the week?
Yeah, this is just not particularly a good race for bookmakers traditionally. They said you go round and round until the favourite hits the front, was the old saying. But again, talking about Sam Thomas last week, I will do it. He said we talking about classy horses. This horse is classy. He was well up there he won the Welsh National. He was second in the Welsh National another time. He won the decent race at Warwick. He said he took them there for a bit of schooling round, and he took to it like a duck to water. He really loved these fences. He's a good enough horse, and I think he'll be well there. So if you're going to have a bet of 20-1, that's a decent bit of value in this kind of race.
Well, that's a bit of an insight there, because I wouldn't have had a clue that would have taken place. And like you say, it's a potentially good each way play. Like I said, Vanillier, I think, is the one that is very interesting. He absolutely stuffed Cocoa Beach over the bank fences at Punchestown, I think it was, last day. He looked like he was back in love with what he was doing, and I think that was probably a problem before, where it was probably just wasn't classy enough over in the normal standard chase. But this discipline, like I said, does bring out the best of them. But I respect Stumptown, but Vanillier is the one I'd back at a decent price. Right, the Grand Annual is a very interesting race. Lots of runners. Often see a 20-1 shot rock up here as well. Jamie, what do you like in this race? It's a difficult one to assess.
Well, the 1-2 from last year are first and second favourite here. Liberty Hunter and Unexpected Party. Unexpected Party is probably slightly worse off now. Liberty Hunter looks to be improving, a year younger as well. So, I'll be siding with Liberty Hunter in this year's renewal. Tom?
Gavin Cromwell again, my mate Mozzie. Yeah, he's a strong traveller. This is going to be a big field, run at a fast pace. He's got a real good hold up, start of running. It's going to fall into his lap, I feel. We've only seen him once this season. I thought he ran a really nice race around Leopardstown. He was virtually favourite that day, so obviously they felt like a good run was definitely needed. Yeah, he can come on for that, that's for sure. Yeah, he's won round Cheltenham before. He's got a high cruising speed. I think he's all the right attributes for a Grand Annual, so I think he's got a right chance, yeah.
Okay, and if Nürburgring turned up in this race, would that be one you'd be interested in? I know you've talked about it before.
Well, I thought this is the race he's going to be running in, but Ben suggests he's going to be running elsewhere. He's definitely a plot job, Nürburgring, that's for sure. Yeah, I saw him around Leopardstown the last day. He was held up in a novice when he was sort of 3-1 favourite at 21 a field, which is absolutely mental. But yeah, they've obviously kept his handicap mark intact, and if he was to run here, Nürburgring would definitely come into the reckoning, but I think he's going to run elsewhere.
Okay, Alan?
I know until at least in the last week the Evan Williams team was planning to take Liberty Hunter to the Champion Chase, which I think he's 33-1 for or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be although I always think to go for the big race. I think it'd be a shame not to run him here really. He still looks he's been a sort of quietly campaigned 9-year-old. I still feel like he hasn't really he's always ridden cold at the back and brought through quietly. They're never too strong on him. I still think he's got a bit more to offer. But I think it'd be a shame if he went for the Champion Chase, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree.
And on Liberty Hunter, we had some of my guys at Evans Yard today. He's not guaranteed to run unless the rain comes. So if you are going to back him, non-runner, no bet.
Okay, so it's the changing conditions, the drying conditions are against that one.
Definitely against him, and like I say, not guaranteed to run.
Cool, good to know. And JPR, I think this could be won by a classy horse. I thought JPR won. It deserves his day in the sun. Joe Tizard moved down there earlier on in the season. He is a very classy horse. He's probably in a bit of no man's land in terms of his mark, being able to sort of go into the underside to go into the Champion Chase. He's not going to win a Champion Chase, probably going to struggle to place, but he could run 15 lengths within the winner of the Champion Chase, and I think that sort of performance would put him in the mix here, even off 11 stone 11. So JPR 1 could go well, I think. Pertemps final, try and speed up so we can make sure we keep on time, guys, if I can. Sorry to push you on. You got a name for me, Jamie, for the Pertemps?
We've got two in here, Alpha Pro and Super Survivor. Alpha Pro will need the rain, so he's more than likely probably not going to run and probably wait for you, Toxter. Super Survivor, he's a horse that was second favourite for the Welsh National last year, but got stuck in the mud. It took us a long time to get him over that, but back over hurdles this year. He qualified for this at Sandown, and then he's won twice subsequently. And actually, he's creeping into it. He looks brilliant. His work is very good, and he's about 33-1. So, yeah, there should be worse bets than him.
Okay, Tom?
Yeah, I fancy Jericho to Repanate here. He was a very good novice last season, winning 3 before going to the Supreme, where he was one of the market leaders. Disappointed that day. Look, he's made a really slow start to this season. They couldn't quite find his trip, but I just feel this has been the plan all along. His first attempt over 3 mile, most recently at Exeter, suggested much better signs, I thought. He's staying on really strong into the line that day. Got to remember, he's a 3 mile point-to-point winner. He's got a lot more untapped potential for this distance, and given his connections with JP McManus, I feel they've got a plan with this horse. So this could be the one.
Alan, along the line.
No strong opinion. I just thought if long draw got in for Ollie Murphy, I think he'll need a few to come out. He's 25 odd to 1.
I like that one a little bit. I think performance is Big Gowl Road.
Big Gowl Road, yeah, Cheltenham. 2 starts ago, he was placed in a pretemps qualifier last time. I just thought a bit of value.
Yeah, I agree. Definite value. Another race for you. That Dragon Bet and other bookmakers will look at it.
Yeah, I don't waste your time. I've got no opinion.
Okay. Just one that I sort of got told to have a little look at for a price, depending on who gets gambled on, is a horse called Dart, an Irish runner. If I'm honest, I don't know a great deal about it. I got a text message about it about an hour ago before I come here. But I thought it'd be worth mentioning just in case it would have bolted up and I would feel bad for not saying it. But Dart, an Irish runner to keep an eye on. Alan, this race, the next race I must talk about is the Trusted Trainer Plate, and I would be remiss of me not to come to you first, given I think you're one of your sponsors, are they, or your affiliated partnerships?
Yes, an associate, certainly. Is that the one we covered earlier now? Is that a different one?
That's a different race, the Trusted Trainer Plate.
No strong opinions here.
Okay. Well, they'll be pleased with you. Tom?
Yeah, I like the Alan King horse here, Masaccio. I'm hoping he runs here anyway. It's a bit of a job to know, isn't it, at the moment? But yeah, he's a very useful hurdler. He's improved a stone since switched to chasing. Look, this horse finished second to the Jukebox Man in a Grade 2 around Newbury. That's absolutely fantastic form, in my opinion. Unfortunately, we won't get to see the Jukebox Man this year, but he's been one of the favourites for one of the novices at the festival, that's for sure. Yeah, he's a very good jumper, rarely runs a bad race. The form behind Jaguar reads seriously well, I think. He's trying to give, I think, around £8 away that day. It's an impossible task. Be better on better terms this time, and he's sure to be in the shake-up. Alan King's been very complimentary since. So.
Okay, and who's not given an opinion, Jamie? Have you told us what you like?
The Fugitive at 20 to 1. He's off 148. He loves Cheltenham, likes good ground. He last won here off 150. I think it was January last year. So Fugitive, I think, for me.
Okay. I hope he runs here, this horse. Lord of Thunder for the Tizzards again. I'd love it if he'd run this horse here. I think he's made for this type of race. Finished a very gallant second to handstands of Ben Paulin to that one and won a Grade 1 after. He's a progressive type of horse. He's run into a couple of good ones. Isn't too badly treated at all. And Lord of Thunder for Joe Tizzard, I actually would say if he ran here, I think he'd be a reasonably good bet of mine. I think he could go very well. James?
Yeah, just agree. That's really strong form. That handstands form. He beat Django Bay, didn't he? Really, really strong form. If he goes, he'll have a right chance.
He's not badly treated if you look at the weights and what rating he's achieved as well. So, okay, the county hurdle back on the Friday. I'm going to mention a horse. I'd be absolutely gutted if she runs here because I didn't talk about her earlier on, but I think she's now going to end up here. But Cargisi is a horse that has got brilliant form behind Sergino from last season, and I've just got a funny feeling they're going to be enticed to run her over the 2 miles after what she done at Ascot. So she would be my bet, just because I'm kind of inclined to follow her off a bit of a cliff, to be fair. But Jamie, what about you?
No idea, but you missed the Kimura.
You've got one in there.
Well, I do have Gitmaker in it. He finished second in it last year, but he wants the rain. But I think the winner of this is going to be Walking on Air, 14 to 1. That is my each way of the festival for sure. Walking on Air. would have won last time out at Doncaster. Only went up £5 for that, would have bolted up, was rated as high as 140. He's off 129 now, walking on air in the commute.
Okay. Tom?
There's a horse called Lark in the Morning. I think he's one of the best handicapped horses running this year's festival, to be honest. He was a good winner of the Boodles last year. We've only seen him a couple of times since. He's very tenderly ridden last time at Leopardstown, I thought, where he's at the back of the telly and made eye catch and make headway. Look, he's running here off a mark of 130. I think there's so much more to come and expect to see plenty of money on the day.
Alan?
I agree with you about Cargisi. I think she was far too keen last time. I think she got a good mark. She got some real good form against a crop of outstanding juveniles last year. And I think she'd go close here.
I think she'd go close to the mares if they ran her there as well.
2.5 that there is.
Yeah, it's a bit further, but I still think she would. James?
The Welsh angle again, Rebecca Curtis. Pat's Fancy's going in this. You remember him being off the track. Well, he ran at Sandown, ran a reintroduction race, let's call it. So fell in front of it. He was tailed off up the way, but he was running off. I think got up to 146. He's entered in this race at 130. He's an older horse. But he hasn't got a lot of miles on the clock. He is a real class animal, and she tells me that he's back to his best. So he's really well in.
What sort of price is that?
Any price you want, I think, at the moment, around 50.
Okay, 50 to 1 shots being put up, because some of these come in because it will be really good. As I said, Cargis I like. I think there's an interesting angle to this race, just so from a punter's point of view, is that this is normally a race that's run at a pretty ferocious gallop, and that almost looks certain with Mirabad looking to take a chance here. So I really recommend that you have a look at hold-up horses in this race and something that likes to come off a strong pace, because it is going to be really well fastly run. And I think that does bring into other horses. But just mentioning Willie's other one, Absurd as well, who's a really good horse of his. But there's a horse running here that is won at Kelso at the weekend. We tipped it up on and talked about it on our podcast. Who's here for a bonus, because they obviously put a bonus. Cracking Rhapsody for who's the trainer? Ewan Williams. Yeah. That would be some story. I mean, talk about stories at the festival. It'd be nice for that to happen. Go and win on ITV the nice race at the Moor Battle Hurdle at Kelso, then come here, Jamie, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The Moor Battle Hurdle's a £125,000 race, which is more valuable than any handicap hurdle at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
You get a £100 bonus if you win both. So that would be a serious turn up. Emmett Mullins did it a couple of years ago. He actually won a handicap chase, but this horse, would be some story. He won back-to-back runnings of the Moor Battle Hurdle. It'd be great if he did.
Yeah, nice stories. That's what we look for at the festival as well. Okay, moving on. The last handicap we're going to cover, guys, and then we'll do the raffle, and then you can go and crack on. The Martin Pipe. You might have to wait till the last race of the festival for this, but I think definitely someone had to push me for my handicap favourite horse banker of the week. It would run here in the horse of Gordon Elliott's called Wadu. I think he's absolutely tailor-made to come and do the business here. Was an unlucky, not say unlucky, but well-backed and unlucky he won, sorry. Okay, right. Joyeuse come second as an unlucky well-backed second that day, but Joyeuse has gone on to achieve great things in winning the Betfair or William Hill Hurdle since. Now been something for the mares. Wadu is a really good horse, Jamie, isn't it?
Yeah, there's undoubtedly he is very good, but a horse that nobody's really mentioned throughout the whole evening is Kopek de May. Now, Kopek de May is one horse. The handicappers said that there is one horse at the Cheltenham Festival that they were struggling to get a handle on, is Kopek de May. They said whatever race that horse runs in, that is the one they fear the most. This is coming from the handicappers. So Kopek de May, he's currently 7-2 for this race. He hasn't run for 310 days. It's a typical Willie Mullins horse. He's always given time, he's patient, he's won his last 3 races. And all the handicappers have done is multiplied its French form by 2. They can't take anything into account. When they handicap Irish horses coming to England, they can take that into account and they can use their own judgment on it. They can use their own judgment on all the English horses. They can't use their own judgment on the French horses come over. They just have to multiply it by 2. And they said this is the horse they are most scared about running. Kopek de May.
So,
Yeah, I really fancy Wadu here for Gordon Elliott. Look, this horse was able to win on the flat, but since switched to hurdles is now 6 from 6. Form recently at Cheltenham being Joyeuse given £8 is absolutely phenomenal, I think. There's no better handicap form than French Arrival. Look, I just can't see him get out of frame at least, you know, at 7-8 to 1, I think it's a really good each way there.
I'm not sure it's that now, is it? What prices would do now, James?
Sevens, aren't they?
Is it really?
Yeah. You
Get
get paid
on.
5 or 6 places.
Get on with James tonight, 7 to 1. Push that 8 to 10, James, and everybody will have a bash. Go on. Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Wadu. Seems hugely upwardly mobile. Hasn't tasted defeat in a little while, and good form at Cheltenham when obviously beating Joyeuse, but seems on the up curve and outside with her in this race.
So what price can you push Wadu to, do you reckon?
I'm just asking the guys on site to push it out to 10 to 1, so if this wins, I'm very
10
upset.
to 1, mate, Wadu. I promise you, you can come and look at me because we'll not be outside the first 3 in that race.
Give it 5
And
minutes.
it's the last race of the festival. Get out stakes. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's the counting all the money from each stakes. I'll be rich by then.
Okay. While James does that, obviously as you've seen throughout the evening on the TV, there's the sign-up bonus. I believe that is working now, James, isn't it? You've got that all sorted. So hopefully some of you have managed to take advantage of that. But I suppose if I could just ask you guys, big thank you from me to these 4 and Fergal as well. I think you've been absolutely outstanding in giving your details. Hopefully all of you have taken something from this evening, even if it's one handicap that you didn't think about, or whether it's one of the angles that the guys are given for next week in some of the bigger races. So if you'd all join me and give these guys a round of applause, thank you very much.